Okay, and welcome to the dumbest, shittiest, most fucked up, COVID infested 28 years later zombie apocalypse show that has ever existed since the dawn of humanity. I'm here with your boy, you love him, you know him, Joey Kimbrough, the Illuminati baby blood drinker, Illuminati,
Right.
Joey Kimbrough. Welcome, guys. We haven't done a show in a long time. Say hi, Joey.
Hey, how's it going, guys? It's good to see you again. It's been a
Beautiful. Joey and I haven't talked much since our live event, which is the very end of April, and we were going to do a show today at 3:00. We got on the Riverside at about 3:00, and then we just shot the shit and just kind of connected and just kind of talked about everything and all the new stuff happening and everything else for about 4 hours. I couldn't believe it.
4 hours.
It's
Yeah.
4 hours, and now we're just now starting the show 4 hours later. So it's exciting. I'm excited. Definitely already brought a lot of clarity to one of my cases, my credit reprogramming case. And what happened was last week, there was somebody in the private group who we don't let anyone in if they haven't taken massive action. I get asked all the time, can I get in the group? No, motherfucker, you can't. Unless you've done a bunch of shit. You've sued someone or you filed a bunch of shit. And it's getting worse and worse. I'm going to start banning people and kicking people out of the group because the whole point of it is it's for people who are highly active. If you've been arrested and now you're filing a civil suit, if you're filing something on behalf of something, if you've done a trust and a passport and a bunch of other shit, those are the kind of people that are invited into the private group. So don't ask me. The answer is probably no. I probably deny 40 people before I'll give one yes to come into the group at this point in time. And I'm going to start kicking people out too. So don't ask me. The answer is probably no. But we have a private group. And in the private group, there was somebody who filed a lawsuit and we're doing some stuff. And Joey got kind of upset. It was very funny. And he posted a video about it. And he was like, motherfucker, you're not even, the summons is a mess. Even the summons is a mess, right? But the defense of that person, badass, he's doing a great job. He's doing it. He's out there. He's fucking swinging the axe. Beautiful thing. And so that was sort of like the catalyst that sort of got Joey thinking. And then Joey was like, hey, man, let's set up an actual show, and let's actually walk people through some of this stuff. I can show you some of the stuff that I'm doing, blah, 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 blah. And I thought, hey, great idea. I haven't done a show in a while, especially together with you since the event. It's been a while. So here we are, and that's what we're going to be going over in this event, in this show. So I wanted to give you guys a little teaser on that. And then, at that point, I will go ahead and just give Joey the mic.
Well, I think the Austin event, I think, was a great thing for all of us to talk about litigation in particular. It's heard me, so now you got a voice, a face with a name, kind of in a voice kind of thing. One of the things that I brought out there was the love that I have for the 15 U.S.C. 1681 argument, which is the Fair Credit Reporting Act. I mean, that's where I've done most of my litigating at, is creating the profile, disputing all the inaccuracies, using the law to the fullest advantage, but even kind of backing up from there, man. And the person you're talking about that I created the video on, again, shout out to him. He is doing a great job for what he's got. He's missed the procedural component, and that's what I'm getting ready to talk about. Is you can have the best argument in the world, Brandon, as you well know, and once it gets into that forum, they're going to do everything they can to eliminate you from the equation. It's 12B6 motion. Yeah, procedural standpoint. So one of the things, anybody who's at the event heard me say, there are 4 buckets that I would really get myself familiar with before I would take on anything. The federal civil rules of procedure. The federal rules of evidence is the second bucket. The third one would be the judicial canons, which that's literally controlling the judge and how he or she operates in the courts. They literally have a playbook that they have to operate by. And then the fourth and final one is the professional standards conduct as outlined by the ABA. So if you know those four components right there, like the back of your hand, I personally don't think you can be beat. And I mean, and those are ones that I dove into later on down the road after I'm very open about my Snap-on case. I mean, I share that all the time. It's one that you can find if you have a Pacer account. It's in the Southern District of Indiana is where I'm at, Indianapolis Division. So you type in KIMBROUGH v. Snap-on, you'll see that case. So walking through that docket, I mean, we could do that. We could spend a few minutes there if we needed to, but you'll see that I strategically let out, I'm saying let out because that's exactly what happened whenever we had a settlement demand go across. There were claims. We got rid of those claims through a stipulation of dismissal. So, you know, if you walk down that docket, you can kind of see exactly how I took on that credit argument, built out my complaint. What evidence did I offer? How did discovery go? What was the case management plan? How did that look? All of those things you can see. You can see those and how to effectively run the docket, but you're not seeing the procedural component behind the scenes that you have in those four buckets that I was just talking about. So
one of the things I learned from you recently is if you look at, well, my cases specifically, it was me like freaking out and like fighting, like rah, 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 like all the way through, right? But really, I had a realization. I've had a lot of realizations since December. I think between now and December of last year, I've had such a tremendous amount of realizations, and I'm going through a whole shift right now. We talked about it before the show, where I'm trying to really bring everything down and simplify everything and say a lot less. It's sort of like build your evidence real solid, really, really simple complaint. And then from that point forward, it's sort of like the boat leaves the dock and then like you're not really arguing anymore. From that point forward, it's just procedural. Like it's like a mindset. Mindset number one, it's like a multi-step mindset process. Mindset number one is evidence. Evidence. I'm getting a letter. You don't even, it's like you read the letter and it's like, wow, cool, this is great evidence. So it's like, we're going to sue you, fuck you, FBI is going to crash through your windows. We're sending, we've got 3 dispatches en route to your house. They have, MP5 fully automatics and body armor. Hope you're ready to get shredded by the CIA. We have private jets that are going to be flying over your location, dropping bombs at 5:30 tomorrow. Great. This is great evidence. Thank you very much. File it in the evidence drawer. It doesn't matter what they say. It's totally irrelevant. It's evidence. You're going to build all that evidence, okay? And they're going to threaten you and gaslight you, and the CIA is coming, and okay, great. Thank you very much. Evidence. Then now you've passed through that mindset, and now you're in the complaint mindset. So now you're going to paint the picture in a simple way, and you're going to connect that picture to various duties, breaches, and damages that your causes of action are functionality under. Right? So then you build the complaint out, keep it as short as possible, attach your evidence. Now you're going into a third mindset. Once you leave the complaint mindset, the new mindset is it's pretty much from that point forward, mostly, it's a procedural mindset. And I think that's an area where I was really falling down badly. And I think it's an area that Joey really got me to like fully understand and become interested in. I was fighting against it, as Joey knows, all the way up until December of last year. Violently fighting against it. I don't need to read any of this shit. Fuck these cases. These people didn't know what they're talking about. Why would I want to read a bunch of fucking retards? Then I realized if I go back like 150 years, there's actually a lot of really, really, really fucking cool shit. And then all of a sudden that whole, I don't want to listen to a bunch of fucking retards talk about retarded shit became, oh my God, this is the most incredible thing I've ever seen. I want to read everything from Roger Taney and Mr. Miller and everything else, and I went fucking nuts. So I think that's something that I've learned the hard way, and I think it's something that I can partake and I can kind of give to the audience and say, look, by the time you leave the dock, you should have your ship built and ready for seafair. Mm-hmm. And then from that point forward, it just seems like it's mainly just procedural at that point, mostly. Not. I mean, you may need to argue your points, but procedural seems to be, 85% of after you leave the dock, what's going on. Is that, I mean, that's pretty.
What I've seen to add to that is usually so. If anybody has a Pacer account, this is what I would recommend, and this is how I did it, and this is how I kind of studied and learned from the bar cards, the ones that were in the courts in my particular court. So if you go to Pacer, and I mean we could do that if we needed to, you'll search under 480 is the tab code. It's under 15 USC 1681, but you'll see that in the search bar, and pull up every case that's in your district for that particular argument. So when you pull that up, you'll start seeing what the bar cards are putting across and how they're effectively doing it. And you'll, what I did is I grabbed like 5 bar card complaints that I really liked, resonated with, that really told the story. You know, why
So you did like a
here?
keyword? It was like a keyword search or something? How did you find those cases?
You know, fuck it. Let's just do that. You want to do that? You want to jump in?
I've never, the most I've ever done is when you taught me Google Scholar.
Okay, yeah.
And I started typing in words and pulling up Supreme Court cases and Ninth District Appeal. But in terms of like Pacer, looking for like specific cases or words or dockets, no, I have no idea.
Okay, yeah, let's do
So
that.
I'd be learning too.
Yeah, no, I think that'd be cool, man. We'll have a hoot here. So we're gonna get it. Can you see it?
Hoot and holler, yeah.
So
It's
let
Indiana
me bring
terms,
up what fucking court am I in here right now? So Miles. Okay, so can you see the screen here?
Yeah, query.
Screen?
You're going to go to query?
Yep. We're going to go to query because that's where I'm at. I need to log in here anyway. It's been a minute. So continue. All right. Let's get this off. Let's just start from a blank screen. So
for people who are new to this, he selected what district he's going to be going to, and he's already got that kind of all set up, and then he clicked his password. So we're already in.
Yeah,
we're already in which district right now?
I'm in Southern District of Indiana. So
yeah.
So when on your first screen when you get in, I mean, I can log out, get back in. If you
No. That's I just wanted to just verbally just quickly say it because it's a pain in the ass to do all that. I know how to. It's a pain in the ass.
So anybody that looks at a civil cover sheet in federal court, this is exactly why. So that's all that is, that civil cover sheet, by the way. It's an indicator for the clerk on what the fuck they are even filing. So that's the key. When you'll look on that, here's Brandon's favorite one.
Nature of suit. Yeah, 140. I memorized it. 140. Yeah. I know the number.
I know my number too is 480. You know, when you're talking about claims of credit. So here's your
I never even
rights.
noticed that they have nature of suit literally right on the search function.
And then the cause of action we're getting ready to get into here in just a second as well. So you'll have both of those components. And this is what I'm saying. This is the awesome thing. This is what got me excited in my journey, was looking through this stuff right here. Consumer credit under the nature of suit. And then the cause of action, I already know it's 15 USC 1681. So I'm going to go down here to make this a little bit quicker for us. Here's 1692 if you're doing a Fair Debt Collection Act. So I don't want to confuse people. So here it is, Fair Credit Reporting Act. I'm going to select that one as well. Now I want to look at open cases, let's say, because I'm just doing a research thing. I'm going to run the query.
But if you wanted to find cases for people one, you would do closed cases, wouldn't you?
You could look at closed cases from the historical, and you could select a range of time and stuff like that. But for me, I'm looking at stuff that people are filing right now. And what you're going to do when you open these things up, you're going to start seeing a lot of bar cards. There's not a lot of pro se folks like you and I in here. But I'll just open up one of the cases, Sweet v. TransUnion, and see who it is.
I want to say one thing real quick on this. For anyone who's doing this, it would be very helpful if you had a recap browser extension installed, because if you have a recap browser extension installed, then anything you download, even the dockets themselves, will automatically be recapped into the free law project, so anyone can access them for free from that point forward.
Perfect, yeah.
Just as a quick side note.
So all this is telling you, this is the docket here, by the way. If you saw while Brandon was talking, I selected docket report there. And now, boom, I have the entire docket. So it's telling me who the judge is. I know Richard Young. He's the fucker that brought gay marriages to Indiana. I don't get on that tangent. Tim Baker, know him well. He was in my buddy Tim's case. So I know all the judges because I'm here a lot. But you can see when it was opened. The funniest thing is this was opened right after I filed my fucking Snap-on case, and it's still ongoing. This is what a lot of these things, when you have bar cards involved, which Jean Sweet is her name, does. She's got David Marco and Larry Smith.
They're getting paid for 3 years.
Yeah, this guy actually tried to get me to run Larry Smith. I know him well. He's up in the Chicago area. But anyway, she's taken on Superior Auto, and she's got TransUnion and all kinds of stuff. So you'll get in here. Here's the complaint. I would open this up. I'm not necessarily wanting to do it right now because it's going to charge me. But it'll tell you everything that's going on in the docket. I'll get in here and I'll study the shit out of this. I'll see how the bar cards act. What are they doing? I think this is the beautiful place to start out. Here's an order. Matter comes before the court on plaintiff's motion to modify time to submit confidential settlement statements. So they've reached pretty much tentatively a settlement agreement here. But anyway, this is how I did it, man. I'm giving you kind of my secret code to success on this.
I had no idea. Look at that.
Yeah, so I went in here and I just started seeing who in the hell is...
It looks like it goes by oldest date opened first.
Yeah.
So if you wanted to see... So the first cases are going to have the most filings typically.
Yeah, it should. Yeah, because they're the oldest ones here. And I went through, I grabbed 5 of them, and I think this is the important thing that you need to realize here, anybody, is grab the ones that are in your district court. It wouldn't make sense for me to go to Western District of Texas to look at cases that are here, because the persuasive authority on those cases and stuff, it makes sense here for me in the 7th Circuit, at least in this district right here. But remember what I said a minute ago. Now you've got same names you're seeing, Larry Smith, David Marco. All of these fuckers are the same people that are filing the cases against TransUnion in this instance and so forth. So I went in, she paid $402. Fuck it, I'll just go ahead and open up this complaint and see what it kind of looks like. And with an attorney's doing it, it's probably, look, 13 pages, that's nothing as far as a complaint. You know that. Mm-hmm. So it's going to be short and sweet.
In the bar card world, for most things, I think 13 is probably somewhat average, isn't it?
Yeah. And that's actually pretty big, honestly. It's usually like 9 pages or something. Ours, 190 pages because we want to show them how smart we are.
Not anymore, though. I'm done with that shit.
This is class action here, too, so that's kind of cool. I like studying these things a little bit. It's telling you the layout, man. The jurisdiction, who the parties are, the allegations, and so forth. So this is just what I did. I went in, I studied. I got the causes of action that related to my complaint. This wouldn't be a good one for us because it's a class action suit. Yeah. But because they're going to fight that tooth and nail to have you or I file in a class action suit. But anyway, I went through here. I opened up an ass load of these things. I found 5 of them that I loved, and I just took my information and plugged it right into these things and created my own complaint that was a win. I mean, it was a success right out of the box. So I'm just telling you, emulate what they're doing. So
let me close down your screen share. I want to do one.
Sure.
Because I want to see. I'm learning this too, honestly, guys. This is all new to me. I'm pretty much just what's the Venezuelan guy that liberated Venezuela and then blew up into flaming fireworks? What was his name? Simon Bolivar.
Yeah.
I'm basically a Simon Bolivar. So I'm a Simon Bolivar that is realizing that it's time to calm down a little bit and be a little more.
Life a lot easier for you if you. So, yeah.
I'm going through a midlife crisis here. So I actually have been studying a lot of cases, and I really want to understand this better. So. Okay.
Yep. There you go.
So here we go. Query. Okay. Nature of suit. We all know where I'm going.
Boy, here we go.
And so these are the different causes of action within a 140. Is it, or is it just anything?
I think you need to find the cause of action or the statute that relates to the negotiable instruments. But
I'd
let's
probably
just
just
do
say
it.
nothing for now
That's
because I
what I
don't
was
even
going to say.
know.
Let's do it without selecting anything and see what it pulls up.
Case status, open or
Yeah, let's do
closed.
open first and see if there are anybody that are even arguing this in the Central District.
So real quick, just to so you can type a case number in here if you know the case number.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to look at specific dates, you can type them in here. If you know a specific name, you can type them in here. Prisoner ID, if you have a prisoner ID for a criminal case, you can look it up here and then type attorney, party, press, media, person. I don't know what that is. But anyways, we're going to leave all these blank. We're going to do open, negotiable instrument, and then open.
Yep.
Run query.
See if anything's out there. Oh, it's saying there's a ton of those cases out there. So that's kind of cool. There you go. Now, I would go through these and find something that looks very familiar with what argument you want to put in front of. There's an interesting one right there, too. District Court Executive Clerk of the Court is getting sued. Tentacle
District
Wilson.
Court Executive of the Court.
I don't even know what that means.
Let's go.
Yeah.
So I click that. We're going into the internal part of, we're going to go to docket report. Now, just real quick for my audience, you can see this little blue icon with the little boat. That's how you know your recap browser is installed. You can see that here.
Cool.
Recap, right? It's a free browser extension. I think it only works for Google Chrome. And then you can also see down here, you can see create an alert. You can see view and search. So if we were to click here, it'll take us over to court listener. And as you can see, someone at some point in time, last updated, no, this is me. So I may have just created this on recap because it'll duplicate the docket. Once you purchase the docket, bang, it'll come up on recap. But it won't come up on recap until someone hits the docket with the recap extension installed. Now watch this. We're going to run the report. And we're going to be able to see everything inside the case. And now we have a petition.
Funds District Court Registry or that's interesting.
Do we want to see this? Fuck it, let's do it.
Yeah,
150. Oh God, shit, 51 pages. Jeez, do we want to do it?
Interesting. Yeah, what the hell, man? $5.
So
I just click the one up above. Yeah.
So we're gonna do view selected. You can see here it costs us $3. Now, if you have recap installed, it'll do download and recap document. Bang, right? Now watch this. If we go back over here to recap, refresh, and then now you can see that the main document, which is a petition, is now blue, and anyone and everyone from this point forward can, for free, through recap, click right here and bang. See
That's
it?
Cool, yeah.
They get that same document forever. It's nice for yourself too. What if you forgot to download it, and you're like, oh shit, I remember that one thing I wanted to download that and I forgot about it. Well, now you got to pay $3 again. You got to find it. Whereas with recap, and also real quick, recap's super cool. You can go to the top and you can get alerts for when there's any filings into the case. You can see parties and attorneys here at this tab, and you can go to authorities, and it'll show you all the case law being referenced in the case, and then you can just click the link and it'll take you to the case. Pretty cool.
Yeah, that is cool.
So I just want to kind of note that as a side note. So let's take a look at this. I'm kind of curious. This is fascinating.
Yeah. 51 pages of crazy.
30 pages, it looks like. Okay. I don't know why it said 51 initially. Petitioner lawfully executed an international bill of exchange in the amount of a lot.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. It's probably one of our people. Look at this.
Yeah. No shit. $47 million. Why not?
Dash 104. Look at this.
Yeah.
Federal obligations under, oh my God, 31 USC 1501. Look at this. Enforceability, relief requested.
It's good. Then the rest is, it's going to be a whole ass load of evidence, exhibits probably.
Boy, this is fascinating. I'm already fascinated.
Yeah. Well, this is where the rabbit hole you can get yourself into really quick when you're searching stuff that is in your lane, so me and the 15 USC 1681, I could do this all day long in every district.
These are all of the mailings, pay to the order of. Wow, somebody actually knows something about this in my area. This is amazing. This is a California residential purchase. Oh, this is for a rental.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
Oh my God. Purchase price is $42 million.
Yeah,
all cash.
Yeah, why not?
This is fast. I wonder why it's a petition. I guess it's a petition because they're only asking for them to accept. They're not asking for monetary damages. Is that right? Petition?
Mm-hmm. That's what it looks like, yeah.
Boy, I am definitely going to be looking over this case. This is so... I've never even...
You'll be bleeding out the eyes because you'll get into this stuff so much now that's it's crazy. This is interesting though because you're seeing actually it looks like a pro se person doing it, which you don't see a lot of, the crazy people. Like
well, I'm in probably the most litigious city on the planet.
Yeah.
Besides maybe LA. So anywhere else in the country, depending on where you are, if you were to go in there and type negotiable instruments, you might not see anything. Who knows? But in my area, there's not that many. You saw at the beginning, there's not that many cases.
Mm-hmm. Let's look at that docket again, too, if we go back. I'm just kind of curious to what's going on there. It looks like they're looking to get service here.
So real quick, if you're in Pacer and you have Recap installed, you'll get a special button here, Recap Actions, and then you'll also see the little Recap blue icon next to the items that someone else or yourself has purchased. So if you're in Pacer, you can also hit a Recap button, and it'll pop you over to Recap automatically and give you the item for free. Just wanted to mention that. A Recap is fucking awesome. It's going to make things so much better for all of us if people start using it. I think you should install it, Joey. It's a great choice.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
So with that said, there's been nothing that's happened on this case. It's just gone dark.
Yeah, from essentially Christmas of last year, it's just been kind of in a holding pattern, which I'm
It's not even a holding pattern. This was a default judgment to me. You just never filed it.
Well, it's only default judgment if somebody brings it up. So they haven't been served, is what it proof of service by mail. So, the court could administratively get rid of this thing if I'm surprised they haven't yet. But yeah, it's interesting. If I'm her, I would have been pushing the court along and first off getting it served to. I don't know what's going on here. Honestly, it's kind of interesting to me just to.
It looks like it was.
Yeah, so she submitted the proof of service. Well, fuck, it's going to the clerk that she's filing it with anyway. So. And
there's just never been any. They never filed a default judgment. There's nothing. No one's motioned the court. It's just sitting there.
It's just sitting there. If I'm her, this is kind of somebody that really doesn't know the process. I'm not waiting. What are we at 6 months now to hear an answer? But then I say that, and we wait 6 months to 8 months in a lot of cases. So I think it's one of those.
We wait 6 months to 8 months because we've motioned the court, though.
Yeah,
this is not.
Essentially, she has too in some regards because she's shown the proof of service and everything. She's done everything right here, right now. It's just she needs to tell the court, "Hey, let's get this thing going." So I don't. It's interesting, but you'll have fun searching through a lot of these type of cases now that you know how to kind of get in there and play around, and you may actually run across your questions that you have with the trademarking too, Brandon.
Well, even beyond that, we're going to get into all sorts of interesting things.
Yeah.
Anyways, this is good to know. I had no idea.
It's good stuff. It's good play. It's a good place to start, just to kind of get your mind around what a real complaint looks like and how it's structured and all of that good stuff. If you're a litigant that's thinking about going down this path, the potential litigant, I think it's a good one. It's a good place to start, and then those 4 buckets that I was talking about thereafter is a great place to kind of expand on that.
And just in case anyone's new to this information, Pacer is only for federal cases?
Yes, that's it.
If you want state cases, it's going to be an entirely different
e-filing system, yeah.
This one's giving me a ton now.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I did open or closed on accident. I forgot to check the. So this is open or closed.
Okay. Yeah, it's all right. I would look too to see how long. So that second one down there has been open or it was closed. It took 6 fucking years. So let me 2000 to 2006. So there was a lot of litigating going on in that one. That docket should be, I would think, pretty large. A lot of back and forth. So I love looking at those too to see what in the hell they were arguing about and stuff. If it's interesting to me. A few attorneys, yeah. Oh shit, yeah. 421 docket entries. So somebody got cracked for 50 grand there, maybe it looks like. So yeah, good stuff. Good place to start, man. And you could literally get in here and when I first started, I spent a ton of money in here because I wanted to see a lot of cases, and I've literally looked at thousands of these things over time. I've been involved in maybe 100 of them.
Why is this? What is it? Because it's 25 years ago. Why are these not clickable up through 7?
It may be to where, yeah, they were kind of just put off to the wayside, but because of the age.
Whoops! Now you got me all interested. I'll be in here fucking.
Yeah,
I'll be in here forever now.
Like a crack whore,
I'll be a head crack whore in here now.
Yeah, for 3 or 4 days, just tweaking out. I think that's kind of the first thing. I mean, that's just if you're interested in this stuff and you're thinking about opening up, this is the place to go to look for the information.
Filed 99, so I have to go all the way up here. The dates are weird. Closed 1920. It looks like it gets later and later and later, and then bang, all of a sudden it goes way back to 92. That's so weird.
Yeah. Well, and then there's some newer ones in there too, sprinkled in.
25.
Yeah, the ones I look at, I look at where there's a big spread. I mean, the time they open, the time to close. If I see 2 or 3 years, I like that because I know there's going to be a lot of docket entries, and I like to see how they interact with one another and what were the motions that were filed and how were they countered and all of that good stuff to kind of educate myself on the procedural component.
Interesting. This one's got 84.
It's a pretty good one. My Snap-on case was pretty small too. There wasn't a ton of entries in it, so that's when it's a good one, man. I mean, you've got the evidence. You don't really need to.
Tons of defendants. Jesus Christ. How do you know what this is? You don't know what it's about until you look at the complaint, I guess.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. There's
23 pages.
There.
Let me pop these off real quick.
If you just go up and select that one up the top, you don't have to do that right there. See the one?
One was already. Oh, like that?
Yeah, that. Just click that, and it's just going to bring yeah. There you go. It told you up there in the pleading at the top right there, breach of contract, unjust enrichment, promissory, equitable estoppel. Some good stuff in there. Fraud. All the good ones.
Well, I am definitely going to be doing a lot more of this. This is amazing.
And then hit that download button over there to the right, and you'll. That's what I do. I save it, name the file, and put it on my dashboard. And
it's already recapped, brother.
Oh, that's right. You do. Yeah. Yeah, you're on the recap stuff.
It's already recapped. If I go to my recap, you can type in searches. But if we go to that case, if we go back and then back and then back, recap actions. View this docket. You can see now the whole. When you buy the docket listing, it'll pop up like this, and it'll say buy on Pacer for all the items that haven't been purchased, and then the individual items that have been purchased will be blue like this, and you can just download like this, and then bang, take you right in.
Yeah, good.
Anyways, I'll stop sharing the screen. I'm going to be doing this for the next couple weeks for sure. No question about that.
Yeah, it's a great place to start, man. That's where I start at. We're going to talk about credit here a bit. That's my sweet spot. That's what I enjoy doing. That's what I love, is taking on that 15 USC 1681. Pretty short and sweet to that now, but as part of, I was sharing with Brandon, before we got started, part of the Austin cohort or event, I created a cohort, and we're taking 11 individuals through that. So that's fun for me.
Cohort means group, by the way.
Yeah. Okay. If that's a definition, I'm calling it a cohort. It's a group of people, gang, whatever you want to call us.
Fucking gang.
But you created a private Facebook group just for us, and then I'm literally walking them from A to Z as far as how I do the process completely, you know, from filing the first letter to filing the lawsuit and closing it out. So what I've done as part of that process, I'm not going to get terribly far into the woods. It wouldn't be fair to the individuals that are in it, but I've created a fictitious avatar that I'm calling her. Her name is Raina Caldwell, and I can kind of show you. I don't have the screen share, do I? Let me.
Yeah, just click it again. It'll pop up.
Screen, boom. Can you see me now?
Oh, yeah. All 1,500 tabs.
Tabs, yeah, that's me, man. I love tabs. Fuck it. So here's kind of my Loom videos that I've created for that cohort so far. I mean, just, you know, starting out, who the fuck is Raina Caldwell? You know, so I started out with that on video one, and literally just told the group kind of, here's what she's going to be as a fictitious avatar. I've created her. She's a nurse in Indianapolis, Indiana, which is where I'm at in that area. And, you know, I'm going to build things out, because that was one of the concerns was, you know, I've had so many clients in the past, and how am I going to do this effectively for this cohort and be able to train them up to the level that I want them trained at to be successful, at least with my argument that they're creating. So I have supplemental stuff in here too, and then the red ones are the modules that you need to fucking understand. I mean, that's where it's like, you know, the first one you can see identity, IQ overview, dispute letter creation, and then letter stream. You know, what is that? So I just go through every one of the you know, how I feel like you're going to be effective. And then I just put one out actually yesterday, getting into the rules, which I'm very big on. So I started out with the Federal Rules of Evidence 301, which is the presumptions, and then 1002, which is the actual docket. It's called best evidence rule. So anyway, this is
with that one, 1002.
Yeah, it's called the best evidence rule. So it literally tells you that you have to have the original document there. So if you have an agreement, a contract, whatever that is.
That'd be good for promissory notes.
It would be, yeah, especially if you're arguing it on the other side of that. That's one that is very important. So I don't know.
An original writing, recording, or photograph is required.
Yeah.
In order to prove its content, unless these rules or a federal statute provides otherwise.
There you go. Yeah.
Isn't there more information on what that even means, though?
Well, it's kind of like the way I look at it, Brandon. Presumptions go both ways, so it means whatever the fuck I want it to mean in there, as long as nobody's going to rebut it, you know. So that's the game that they play. That you know. So yeah, I don't know. Yeah, where you want to go with that?
Interesting. No, it's just a side point. I'll look that up more.
So I want to kind of get in here and go over an overview of what I've done with Raina.
Huh?
So this is kind of how I manage all of my cases, mine personally, any clients, your cases, my cases with you and clients, kind of stuff. But here's the folder that I've created for Raina Caldwell, the fictitious avatar that I was talking about. So we've got credit reports, assets that I've created for her, dispute letters. Well, I'll show you each of these folders and kind of how I outline them. And then there'll be a second one that we're getting ready to create for Raina. But credit reports is the place that I would start, and I think this is important because this is what we were just looking at for you, Brandon. And I highlight stuff here too, so this will give you a really good example of kind of getting in my mind when I'm looking. So I created this fictitious credit report for Raina.
You created that from like scratch, like the whole thing?
I did. So I uploaded one of my clients' credit reports, and then I just got in Adobe Pro and I changed the information because it's a PDF. Yeah, so I created a reference number and the whole bit, and then put her information in here. So the things that I have highlighted on Raina's credit report are what I look for whenever I'm disputing. So this is Identity IQ, by the way, and I don't have any kind of a deal with them or anything. It's just who I use whenever I'm disputing any credit profile for anybody. So I looked at any of the information across the 3 credit reporting agencies, and anything that's in here that's different between the 3, I can dispute that. And the way the
Can
law
you show us the actual original text in 1681 or whatever real quick in a tab that shows the federal statute that says that it has to be accurately reported?
I can. Let me get through this, and then we'll kind of dig into the law if we need to. So yeah, it talks about maximum accuracy clearly, and actually you'll see it in the letters that I have created for her too. So yeah, that'll be really good for us to look at. But any of the information that you have, if you were looking at your credit profile, this is what it would look like in Identity IQ. And I just go through here and I highlight everything across the 3 credit reporting agencies, and then I'll go back and dispute certain things. So any accounts that don't make sense, that aren't hurting her in any way, I don't dispute those at all. Like this one here is not hurting her because she's got, a balance of 522 against a credit limit of 3K. She's good there, and it's an older account, so not one I want to fuck with. But you'll see some of the ones that I actually do. Here's one, GS Bank. So the date opened, I'm definitely looking at because those are different dates that are open.
So you're looking at all 3 of the listings one under TransUnion, one's under Experian, and one's under Equifax, and you're looking for any listing or item or piece of information that may be different than the other 2, correct?
Yes, with any of these leading things like date opened or any of that stuff. So yeah.
And each individual item that may be different than the other items in any way, shape, or form would then be something you would be disputing because under law they have a duty to properly and accurately report, and it's basically essentially evidence proving the fact that they're not, thus breaching the duty of which they have, essentially.
Yeah. So anything that I can find that gives me the grounds to get into the court is what I want. And it only takes one item, like the date opened across the 3 credit reporting agencies you see here. If it's different, that's all you need, because the law very clearly spells out that it has to be maximum accuracy, and they have to have a procedure in place that ensures that. Congress has given us that through that law. So the fact that I have multiples here, who gives a shit? It only takes one. And I think that's what people get fucked up on, is they think, oh my God, Joey's got 8 things here, that he's no, it only takes one. So if there's an account that is not serving you in some way, which this one is not serving her, because you can see that there are late payments here, and that's what's going to kill you, at least on this account. I'm getting this account off. I don't care. And there's a little bit of a difference between me and the industry overall. They're going to say, look at the age of the accounts and so forth. If it does not serve you at all, I'm getting rid of it. So this is one that's gone.
It makes sense too, even from a trust standpoint. If it doesn't benefit you, then it should be thrown out, period.
Exactly. There are some that actually look really good. That are perfect pay history. This one here might be one of those. So here's a perfect example. She's got an extremely high balance, 52,887, against a high credit limits of 53,295. So she's essentially maxed out. This is a car loan, it looks like, too. So this one is definitely not serving her, because she's completely, in my opinion, maxed out on this thing. So I'm looking at the variables that I can dispute here. Here it is. Date open's different. Last reported's different. Date last. So I'm going to get rid of this one too, because it's not serving her. So you'll see that here in a minute, how I handled that. But yeah, there's a couple more of them here. Macy's, she's got a lot of late pays here. So as soon as I see that, I go batshit nuts, and we're definitely getting rid of this, because...
Why are there 2 on that one? There's 2 of them that have nothing, all the way up until the very end. And then all of a sudden there's some green boxes. Why? And then why are they white too? They're like...
So there was no reporting here for these 2 credit reporting agencies. This is the beginning, not the end. So this would be, and I kind of have this messed up again. I was the one that was doing this. So,
but that would also be inaccurate, because why are they all of a sudden reporting something that was opened way back when Equifax originally says it's opened.
Yeah, I don't get too weird about that. I know your mind goes with you want to talk to people for hours and stuff like that. I want to just say, why is it 120 and why is it 150? You know what I mean? I don't want to have them tell me why the whole thing was created.
Everybody thinks that I'm the most evil thing for bar cards, but in fact I'm the second coming of Christ for bar cards, because I create all their billables, apparently.
That's what I was getting ready to say. Yeah, they love you because you're giving them the billables, because you're asking questions that they say, fuck it, all right, that's great. We're all in, you know. I'm more like, hey, this says 120 for TransUnion and 150 for Experian. That's obviously not the same two numbers, right? We can agree on that. So then I'm arguing with them on that point, and then guess what? This account's going to get removed, you know. So that's what I like, you know. High credit limit, different numbers altogether. So this one's gone. Synchrony's going to be gone. Same thing, charge off versus 150. So you're kind of getting in my mind what I'm looking for, differences in any capacity that I can dispute. 300 or is it 0? Which one is it? You know, those are two different numbers. So any of that stuff is something that I can, here you go, paid, or is it
Have you ever had a situation where they just go and just fix it and just say, there, it's fixed, bye?
That's exactly how I would handle this if I were on the other side of the equation. I've asked that question too. Why in the fuck wouldn't they? This is the easiest shit in the world to fix. I would think I'm going to go hire Joey to be my overseer here, because here's what happens. And this is me talking to bar cards, one in particular in Chicago when he was wanting me to do leads for him, is they get 1.5 million of these every week. So they have
$1.5 million
disputes.
Oh, okay.
So 1.5 million disputes from 300 million of us that are here in the States. So eOscar is their system, is what it's called, and it's a scan recognition system. So when your letter goes in, it literally goes in, they scan it, they hit it with a code, and then they kick you out some kind of horseshit cookie cutter letter that comes back at you, right?
We've checked it, it's all good, fuck you,
it's good,
thank
fuck you, fuck off, fuck around. And what that works for most people, right? And even the ones that it doesn't work for, the other crazy rare 5% like us, they know that the reality of you taking this to court's slim and fucking none. So that whole industry on one side of it, the whole credit reporting companies, I can't stand that. I was a part of that at one time, but it's just sending out these magic fucking letters that they hope disrupt somehow eOscar system. I mean, dude, I've heard it all. Write in crayon, do this, do that, write in different, you know, fonts and stuff, and everything's been tried to trip up eOscar when it's not needed. If you do this right here, you're going to be successful, because the law clearly spells what they're supposed to do, what they're not doing, and what you can expose. So I've exposed what they're not doing, and then I attack that, man, and I make it as simple as I can. And then I don't go crazy in here, and then I ask for, just fix my shit. But to your point, Brandon, is why wouldn't they fix it? You know, that's the question that I've always had, is it doesn't make sense to me to...
They'll probably do it with mine. Knowing where we're at right now, they'll probably... I'll be the first one. Oh no, we fixed it all. Fuck the subset. You know what I mean?
Well, I would think that they would, but they don't. They're just too lazy with the eOscar system to be able to fix it. And the three of them do not talk, which is really clear if you get into the discovery process. The three
of them, meaning the three credit,
Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion.
They don't talk for real.
No, they're three separate companies altogether, so they do not talk whatsoever. Now,
so the original company, like Amex, basically it's a one-way flow from Amex to 1, 2, 3 individuals that don't talk between the three individuals.
It's kind of a two-way flow between just taking it, you know, from Amex to Experian, and actually it's Experian to Amex. And they should be talking. So it's very clear how it's outlined in 1681I, which is referring to the reinvestigation from the credit reporting agencies.
I'm reading just real quick, just to stop, because I was a little bit... So 15 U.S.C. 1681, Congressional Findings and Statement of Purpose. I would like to just share this for just a moment. I'm going to turn off your screen share. Just a quick, just a 5-second little side veer on this. So here's 15 USC 1681, and here's Section A, accuracy and fairness of credit reporting. The Congress makes the following findings. 1. The banking system is dependent upon fair and accurate credit reporting. Inaccurate credit reports directly impair the efficiency of the banking system, and unfair credit reporting methods undermine the public confidence, which is essential to the continued functioning of the banking system. An elaborate mechanism has been developed for investigating and evaluating the credit worthiness, credit standing, credit capacity, character, and general reputation of consumers. Consumer reporting agencies have assumed a vital role in assembling and evaluating consumer credit and other information on consumers. There is a need to ensure that consumer reporting agencies exercise their grave responsibilities with fairness, impartiality, and a respect for the consumer's right to privacy. Okay, these could all be considered duties for a cause of action.
And they are. And you'll see them in my complaint with Snap-on, because that's where I got it from, was the bar cards that, that's referred to. Now you're starting to get into the procedures that they have too. So
anyways, I just wanted to show that real quick.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's exactly how it's
I'm going to turn my light up. Back to you. You can screen your shit.
Let me can hear screen. And now I'm just going to, I don't know kind of where you want to go with this, but I'm going to show you a little bit more what I did for Raina here as far as the letters. And I think that'll kind of help kind of how I build this stuff. So you saw the credit reports, what I look for on the identity IQ. Then, I have dispute letters here that I've created. So the first one I created for June 1st is what I'm calling it. For each one of those credit reporting agencies and also the credit furnishers. So Experian, for instance, here's a letter that I just created for Raina going to Experian based off of reference to the law, and specifically the EB portion of maximum accuracy. That's the one Brandon was just asking about referencing. So it's 1681 EB. I reference it in the letter, letting them know that, hey, it clearly says maximum accuracy. It's mandated. That's not something that you get to play with. But I pull out the personal information, how I want it to look on her profile, and then I reference the right to privacy stuff here and all of that stuff here too, statutorily. And then I look at the accounts that you saw there on her credit profile, and I give the specific stuff that's jacked up on there that they need to reinvestigate. So it's one of those things where I'm not trying to catch them off guard, and I'm kind of that rare individual. It's like, look, I look at this biblically that says, hey man, I need to let my brother know that they're fucked up and they're causing me a lot of grief. So that's how I dispute these things. That's why this letter looks like this.
It's basically saying I'm not being benefited by this, really, in English.
Yeah. So you got all the statutory references. You have all of the accounts that are jacked. Here you go. Fix it. Quit fucking with me, and that's it. So I send this off, and then I clearly tell them you've got 30 days, which that's what the law says if you get in there and you read it.
I think I saw that on the somewhere. I saw that.
Yeah, and they can extend that 30 by 15, but they have to give you written author. They've got to let you know, and they don't, because they really don't give a fuck. So that's kind of what a letter looks like from a credit.
So just to recap real quick. So they get 1.5 million of those letters per week, you said?
Per week is what the attorney said, yeah.
So they don't even have, like, you think to yourself they're ignoring you, when in actual fact it's basically just an avalanche all the time, all day, every day, and they just can't even, it's just whatever the computer spits out, they just send it. No one even looks at it, probably.
No, it's AI before AI was AI, you know. So eOscar was one of those optical scanning things that came in. They read your letters. That's why when I was saying earlier, people have tried crayons and different kinds of fonts. They're trying to fuck up eOscars, what they're doing, to where they get a manual review by, you know, some type of an agent, which just doesn't happen. So that's why they're doing that. So now that was
So in
a
other words, don't get mad if they ignore you because no one's going to
yeah.
see it anyways. It's almost like just a process.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's and you should look at that. I mean, it depends on how you're looking at this. That's a blessing, I guess, because if they're going to kick you back a canned letter, you know by looking at your credit profile that it's fucked and there are inaccuracies. They're going to send you back. What you're going to see, by the way, I created responses from each of them too because I want my cohort members to see what I've seen 100 times now, like a real world experience. So you're getting ready to see that here in a second as well. But here's a credit reporting furnisher here. That's, you know, so we create another letter here. This is going to Cap One. You saw that on her profile. Now I'm giving the statutory reference to 1681 S2. You know, the part there and what's fucked up on this account. Same thing. You have 30 days. So I'm letting both know. I'm letting the credit reporting agency know that you got 30 days and here's what's fucked. I'm letting the credit furnishers know, the ones that own the accounts, that hey,
Like Amex, for example.
like Amex, like yeah, exactly like Amex. Here's what's fucked. Here's my information. One of the things that you have to know too, this is pursuant to the law too. And this is what I letting my people know they have to do. I always do this. You have to have some type of a copy of a government issued ID so that they can do make sure it's you and not Joey Kimbrough sending this stuff across, which there's a workaround that too because I get your shit and then I send it. Proof of address, you know, through a utility bill, because here's what's going to happen if you don't provide these things. They're just going to kick it back with that eOscar system that says, oh, I can't verify your information. Sorry, go fuck yourself. If you send these things, then now it's you that's sending it. They have confirmation it's you sending it and all of that stuff. And then I'll put an Exhibit A, which is a copy of that credit report that's clearly highlighting what their discrepancies are, not the entire one that you just looked at, just their portion of. So that's kind of how I handled that part of it. And then, like I said, I really wanted these guys to have a great experience here. So I show what the responses were back from those. So you just saw Cap One, right?
Mm-hmm.
If it says green stuff here for me, and I'm managing my folder system here, I'm crazy anal about that. Green means I got a response back from them. Yellow means I didn't get anything. And you're going to have that, right? So you got 10 accounts. Typically, there'll be 4 plus that won't respond to you. They'll just completely fucking ignore you and think, it's another pro se person, or a credit repair company or whatever, and not respond. And there's a way to handle that too, which I'm going to show my cohort here when we record the next module. But just as a response, so you can kind of see, this is going to look very real because this is what I'm used to seeing. Hey, dear's Miss Caldwell. So they're referencing the account number. This is as if it was kicked back from eOscar because it would have been. This is exactly what it would look like. Hey, we're writing in response to your formal disputes. They're acknowledging that, and they always will. We received it June 4th. Completed our investigation in accordance with S2B, just like you pointed out to them. So they're now letting you know that they've been reinvestigated as part of that, or investigated. Reviewed your account history, including the date open, everything that you said was wrong. And the confirmation is it's being reported accurately to these 3. So there you are. That's what you're going to get. And that's what they always send you back. And they think that this is going to take care of. And with majority of the people, it does. For me, on the other hand, I'm going to take that and say, hey, fucktards, I told you this once. I'm going to reference back to that certified signature required thing that I have, which we'll look at that as well.
Well, that's why I said at the beginning, it's sort of just a mentality. And I think that's why people get so angry and upset and they give up. They get so emotional. But really, if you have that evidence building mindset, that letter you just received is just evidence. That's all it is.
Mm-hmm.
There's no reason to get upset. No one looked at the goddamn thing. They get 1.5 million submissions per week. No one cares. No one is going to look at it. Some computer kicked it out. Great. So now you have the evidence that you need to move forward. To me, it's just like watching gears in a fucking watch turn and then get angry at the gears for turning. It's when you really think of it in a simple way, it's just that, it takes all of the reason why you give up is because you get angry, you get emotional, you get sad, you get defeated, right. So if you think of it, if you take the emotion out of it, I'm sending paper with fucking ink with fucking symbols on it to a fucking computer, and then the computer doesn't do shit, and then the computer automatically kicks out a piece of paper with ink with symbols on it, and then now you can move on to the next step. I mean, really.
Yeah. I use a system called LetterStream, and we can walk through that if we need to. I mean, I do a whole teach for my group, and they're like, holy fuck, where was this at? I didn't even know this was a thing. So
I never heard of it until I met you.
Yeah, this is a workaround for the 3811s that I used to always fill out and take to the post office. So I uploaded these docs into LetterStream. Here's her return address. Here's the certified, there's the tracking code and stuff going to Cap 1. But you can see clearly it's the letter that I just told you that I sent them. It's a copy of Exhibit A, her credit report, that's pointing out their stuff. So I would send this across. I save this in a folder showing, like, I'm crazy about collecting my evidence and keeping it all, in a folder, because it's crazy how you'll get fucking lost in just a small, simple case like this. You've already seen how many folders I've created, and if you don't do good with management as far as your docs, you're going to be fucked. So here's the signature card from LetterStream. This is exactly what it looks like, by the way. This is real in some regard. I got into one of my LetterStream accounts and created this based off of it, but I'm kind of cheating here a little bit. I'm showing where it went to Plano, Texas for Cap 1, and it is showing that Mary Coleman signed for the document. So when I create that second letter, which we're not going to be seeing here tonight, but my cohort will be seeing here very shortly, I'll upload the first letter. I'll upload the fact that, it was sent via LetterStream, and then I'll upload this letter here into my AI agent that I've created for each of these individuals. And then it'll kick me out the second letter that says, hey, Mary Coleman signed for this on June 4th, 12:26 p.m. in Plano, Texas. I'm now nailing the fucking, the coffin shut for them. So that's kind of how I handle that part of it with the data management and stuff. I keep everything here where I delivered it. I keep the signatures of every card that I got back. I have all of the letters that I've created sent across, and that's where I think a lot of people fuck up. Now I'm getting ready to create the second letter that's 30 days past, and I'll reference the first one. I'll give them a little more statutory information, like I'll reference 1681 N and O that talk about the damages and stuff. And, I kind of got to give you a glimpse into what that looks like now, just kind of a verbal versus, for Raina, that's as far as we've gotten with the cohort right now. So, yeah, I can tell you what I'm going to do as far as moving forward. How I did with the Snap-on case is I just, the next round will be, like I said, I'll be pointing out the fact that, hey, I've already sent you this. Mary Coleman signed for this. You guys fucking ignored me. And now here is the second letter basically saying that I have still not, got these inaccuracies fixed. As Brandon just pointed out a minute ago, it's your responsibility. Here's what the law says. But at that particular point right there where that second letter, and this is what made me very successful for Snap-on, is now it's time for me to establish damages. So the way that I established damages there is I went out and I applied for a sizable loan that my lifestyle would take care of. And I was denied because at that particular point I had a 660 score because of what they're doing. So I've let you know, as I should, a good dude. You said go fuck yourself. It's been verified. I now have went out and applied for something after I told you and you ignored me and didn't fix it. I've now been damaged. I lost my $2.5 million loan as a result of that. You guys are on the hook. So I also at that point strategically I filed a CFPB complaint. That's the Consumer Financial Protection Board, which is the overseer of all of this. That's kind of the watchdog for the FTC. And I filed for each one, like Snap-on, Equifax, and Experian in that case, I filed a BBB complaint. So I'm just literally, I'm creating the evidentiary folder in the Snap-on case. If you looked at my case, you'll see this stuff. I let them know. I disputed. I sent a second dispute after they came back at me and said, just as they did with Raina here, as you saw, nah, we verified everything. You're fucked up, Raina. Then I sent the second one. I went to the CFPB. I'm filing the formal complaints with the federal watchdogs and all of that stuff. So after that, then they're going to, probably ignore you. That's what they did me. There wasn't a lot of dialogue. They did answer the CFPB complaint, and they did answer the BBB. There was a dude named Michael Walsh for Snap-on that got on there and says, Mr. Kimbrough's fucked up. He has no idea what he's talking about. The credits used for ordinary household items, blah, blah, blah. So anyway, they may answer that, but it doesn't matter. They're still not fixing the shit that you're telling them on your profile is jacked up.
Which is your right, as per the 15 USC 1681. I mean, they're pretty clear. They use some strong language there. I mean, I haven't read that in a long time, so it's reading it in a new unit of time. It's interesting to me because the language is pretty strong.
Yeah, it's very strong in how they're supposed to act. And they know that 9 out of 9 of us don't know how to dispute this accurately, and they sure as hell know we don't know how to build a complaint that's going to be simple and that's going to be able to procedurally hold up. So they're banking on that. There may be that one person out of 1,000 that gets through the gate, which I was. And, they're banking on, not having to pay a ton out, as a result. So
they're banking on people get angry and they give up after the letters because they're angry because they think someone looked at it when no one did. They think, they get angry because the bar cards fucking play games. I mean, you really only have one payment. The payment is to get the game started. You don't have to pay any more money or currency. I don't see why you would pay $405 for a federal case or however much for a state case and be going and going and going and then just give up. I mean, you paid. You don't need to pay any more currency.
Or worse yet, just keep sending these fucking letters. And that's the difference between, I think, you and I and a lot of folks that believe in the administrative process. This is the administrative process, by the way, what we're doing right now, creating the evidence. But that administrative process is horseshit if you don't know how to use it in the future.
It's just a stepping stone to the next step. If you think you're going to
building your evidence.
If you think you're going to get results, you're going to get angry, you're going to give up, and you're going to say that everyone kills babies and they're all Freemasons.
Yeah.
Because the thing is that, again, that's why I said at the beginning, it's just a mindset. The first mindset is just evidence. If they send you a weird, blurred out photo from a drone of your apartment through your windows while you're naked taking a shower saying, "We see you, motherfucker. We're going to kill you when you least expect it." You yawn, you take another sip of your beer, and you file it into the evidence folder.
That's exactly right. You don't give them an emotional response. And
who cares? Fuck them. It's just a computer or bullshit. And then once you've built the evidence, now you're going to go into complaint mindset. So you're just building out the complaint to jurisdiction, as per 15 USC 1681 or whatever it is. I have a right to, and then you just quote them. Don't say a bunch of bullshit. Manifesto. Quote them. Very strong language there. Quote them. I have a right to, as Congress has stated, the following, fair and accurate and this and that and, this and that and this and that. I'm not getting that. I've let them know through these various things, which I'll attach. Relief requested, monetary, $5,000, $10,000, $20,000. One of the things that Joey and I talked about before the show is that a lot of people are going out there trying to get $400 million, which I've done a lot of that. I am the guy, honestly, frankly, who have probably caused a lot of other people to want to do that, which I don't regret that, but because I really believed that all this time. I thought it was going to be easy and it made perfect sense to me. But now, at the other end of 16 months and barely getting any traction, why would you be so concerned with getting unconditional promises to pay up front when if you got your credit for this specific subject, if you get your credit profile fixed, you can get all the unconditional promises to pay and conversion and notes. You can get everything you want. It's infinite money in a way. Why would you be concerned about the upfront notes? When I file, I was talking to Joey before the show, and I realized when I file mine, I'm going to do like $2,500 per account, $2,500 per defendant. So it's going to be $2,500 for Amex. It's going to be $2,500 for Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. And it's going to cost them more money, currency, just to file into the case than it would be just to settle. I'm going to go totally the other direction.
That's exactly what we found in my case, and then my buddy Tim's that I've referenced a lot is JP Morgan filed in after we had a hearing in his case where I'm sitting in the office and we got it on mute because it's literally a phone call. There's 8 attorneys on there because we had 8 defendants. There's Tim in the room, and then he's talking to the magistrate, which was Tim Baker. You saw his name on there a minute ago. And I'm making them fall in love with him. But here's the thing. After they fell in love with him, found out he was a 2-tour vet, 2 Silver Stars, all of that other stuff that I was putting out there, they're listening to this love fest go on between the 2 Tims. And the phone rings, and it's literally JP Morgan Chase, who's the same motherfuckers that handled the Bernie Madoff stuff and everything. So they've dealt with multiple billions, and here we are talking about a couple of $1,000. And literally the gal who I know is making $1,000 an hour is on the phone talking to him. Goes, Mr. Branyan, I can tell you that it's going to cost us more to file a motion to dismiss than give you $1,500. What do you think? He looks over at me and I'm over there going, yes, because this is like I really love to start out showing the court that we're wanting to play well and blah, blah, blah. So the first motherfucker coming to the till is going to get a deal, man. So I'm over here going, yes, and he's like, well, I guess we can do that, it's like we're jumping up and down and high-fiving though, because there's the first one, and the phone just keeps ringing. Now it's Equifax, it's 25 now, bro, it's like, so anyway, at the end of that, if you're going to test your stuff out, if you ever want to help somebody, 8 defendants, I did a contingency deal with him there. I made $16,000 on that one, so I'm not hiding that. So it's like, it was good. It was quick. It's an easy argument to create or complaint. It's nothing that we're going crazy about. He got his profile up just like I did. My case, I got $34,500. I was an 839 credit score, 11 points away from perfect the moment that we agreed on things. So that's what I was looking for. I'm looking for the W, a little bit of cheese, and a credit score that now I can go out and get anything that I want, as far as goods.
You have one girl who wasn't even asking for any damages. She was just asking for the removals.
Yeah.
How fast was that one?
It was settled really quick. So, and we did, because it was like $1,500 per, but still it was settled within a couple months, I think it was. So it's really the time that you file into the case, you get everything, the notice of service of process once it's in there. Then that's when the clock starts ticking. They've got the 21 days to answer, typically, if you're waiting. As soon as they file in, that's when the way that I do it is I reach out to the attorneys and say, hey, here I am. I'm looking for an amicable resolution for both you and me. And that's very well received versus, as we both know, Brandon, you don't have jurisdiction. You don't have this and all that bullshit stuff that comes out of people's fucking mouth when they don't understand. This person's one is an individual just like you are, but 2, they have the ability to play the game and keep you strung out for a long time. So I always like to show some humility. Say, hey, here's who I am. Here's what I'm looking for. I want this to be a win for your client. I want it to be a win for me. So that's always been received well. Now we'll go back and forth and measure dicks for a while sometimes, but I've never not won that way of starting out with anybody. So she was an easy one too. She just wanted access to her credit, which most people in the space do. I say 45 wins. 40 of those didn't want any damages. They just wanted access to their credit profile. They're thinking in the mindset of my friend Brandon here, who says, I want access to infinite money. I want to go out and do this again. Let me get my fucking 750 plus credit score. I'm going to go out and fuck things up, stir it up, get access to blah, blah, blah.
Get 50 grand and then just
boom.
Go on a spending spree and then spend the next 2 or 3 months litigating. You get it removed and then go on another 50 grand spending spree. And then you just increased your overall yearly income by $300,000 basically right there. Boom.
And then here's the thing that I tell everybody too, at least the people in the cohort and anybody I talk to about this, understand that when you're putting this complaint together and you're litigating this, for me, it's pretty quick, but some people, it's hard for them to grasp onto this. If you have Amex and it's $50,000 and it's on your profile, I feel very confident I'm going to get it removed based off what we just looked at in the complaint that I'm going to build. That doesn't absolve you of their ability to come and sue your ass for the 50 grand. And most people think, well, wait a minute. You're getting it taken off. I'm not getting the debt taken off. I'm getting the horse shit taken off. But here's the way around this, like I did with Snap-on. They thought that I owed them $7,500 for a scan tool from when I was in the dealership community. So that was part of the settlement agreement. If you're going to do that, leave Amex's $50,000 on your credit profile, you're the dumbest fucker walking around on the earth. You have the ability right then and there to settle this. So that's why I went after $2.5 million, and got rejected, so that when I came to the table from a settlement standpoint, they thought I owed them $7,500. I showed all of the dust that I kicked up with all the fucking craziness. And so it's like, let me pay you, Brandon, the $7,500 you think I owe you. You pay me the $2.5 million that you owe me now that I was denied after I told you this, and we'll be friends. They're like, whoa, wait a minute. That's what I'm talking about. So if you owe Amex $50,000 and you've shown them effectively that you've now went out and established damages, for me, I'm usually at least a 10x kind of thing. Go apply for something $500K that your lifestyle would support. I don't care if it's a house, a land, whatever. And when you do that, now you have the ability from a settlement standpoint to say, I'll pay you the 50, you pay me the 500, we'll be friends. And it almost sounds comical and just goofy, but that's real. So that's how the court's going to look at damages after you've told them. So that's why it's super important for me at that second letter kind of level. I'm not only sending it across and reminding them that they signed for this, they still didn't, they verified it and it's still inaccurate, but now I've been damaged X, whatever X is, you fill in the blank. And I'm also letting the feds know, and I'm doing everything here that I can to establish that I'm trying to get this resolved. I usually on the second letter, I'm telling them, hey man, just fix my shit. That's all I want. But when I get in court, it grows obviously a little bit more than that. So,
I mean, hearing you talk, the first thing that comes to my mind is just on your letters and on your complaint, one of the points that you would stick on there to say that there's an inaccuracy in reporting is to say that the original credit corporation or whoever, like Amex or whoever, they're still in possession of all of the original unconditional promises to pay that were generated on the account. If you go down that route, then I think that may divert them from wanting to sue you because they see that you understand the greater system, the greater depth of the system. And if they were to sue you, then the first thing you're going to ask for in discovery is, well, what the hell happened to all of my original unconditional promises to pay? I never asked them from you guys. Or in my case, I have asked them for it and they haven't given it to me, so it's an even better position. But I mean, I feel like once you understand the negotiable instruments game, I don't think anyone's going to sue you. I mean, I don't think if you put a gun in the mouth of any credit agency that I've never paid to sue me, I think they'd rather get shot and have their head blown all over the wall than sue me.
I think that suing you is one thing as you're the defendant, and that's so easy to defend. I say that and it sounds arrogant. there's a different mindset when we're creating as the plaintiff here, in my opinion. And if you're throwing negotiable instruments out, you and I differ in our thought process there. I'm not a huge fan because I think it just opens the door up. I know it opens the door up to the soft sit. And I've never had the soft sit argument or vapor money theory or any of that stuff in any of these that I've built along this way that we're talking about right now. So me personally, I would leave that completely off. I don't need it. I've already tasted blood in the water. I'm the shark, kind of thing. As soon as I put that on there, what I know that is, it's right. By the way, I'm not here to get you and the whole group over here of that thought process and belief fired up, because I truly believe that it's accurate. It's just I don't need it, and when I put it in there, I know it's going to cause me a lot of heartache.
It's like setting the building on fire, which I tend to enjoy doing. So I get
locking
it. Yeah.
the doors while you're inside. It's fucking. It's okay. Yeah, we're good. Come on in, firefighters, and rescue me.
That's why I enjoy. Maybe that's why I enjoy this so much. I don't know. Maybe that's why. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I just it's fun. I just want the win, and I want a little bit of money, and then and so far I've tasted that, and I've done really well. So that's what I want for my folks too that are going through this cohort, and they're going to get it. There's no doubt in my mind, and we're just doing it the way that I've done it in the past and been pretty successful at it. So after that, I'll send them a letter, a notice of intent to sue. It's going to be a third letter that's going to come across 15 days later that says, hey man, here's the first letter. You told me to go fuck myself. Mary Coleman signed for it, so I know you received it. Second letter I sent you, I put a little bit more teeth into it. And then now here we are again. I've been damaged now, so we need to talk about that. And the funny thing is, in my Snap-on case, I sent them an invoice too for $30K. I said, look, we can be friends. Just send me $30K, fix my shit. Well, they did. They sent me a letter back, not the $30K, but they sent me a letter back that says, we've removed your, they lied. I'd already had it removed at that particular point. I'd negotiated that to let Equifax and Experian out. That was part of the settlement agreement, which is the most beautiful thing. If you see that in action, it's awesome. So it was a little money from each of them, but it was more the 408 federal evidence letter that we sent across, which is a confidential, settlement demand that says, I want these fucking things removed from my credit profile. And for the little bit of money, that part of it was the beautiful thing. They were like, okay, no problem. Here's an updated credit report, and I saw 839 at the top of that, and I about creamed myself. So, that was what I was looking for. So now when I go back to Snap-on, they're saying, oh, you let the wrong people out. You shouldn't have done that. No, man. I've got all the intangibles from them that I need. They gave me my credit back, bro. I don't have no fucking, it's me and you to the dance now. He's like, oh, shit. Anyway, a couple months later, and we were out of that thing altogether. So that's it. You saw the first letter, you saw the responses. The second letter's now coming that we're building off of that now, letting them know they're fucked and they're still, I'm still being damaged at this particular point. Third one's notice of intent to sue. I've sprinkled in like a little default now too. Let them know administratively you've defaulted. I think that's a good one if you want to add a fourth one. As well as me by now, Brandon, that I would take on the building the evidence for 6 to 8 months if it's me. I mean, because I believe so much in letting them have every opportunity so that when I take it into the court, it's like, look at all of this, Your Honor. I've literally, in good faith, given them X letters and a notice of intent to sue, and that's the one the court wants to see right there. That's the most important document of everything that you're going to present to the court is the notice of intent. I'm letting you know I'm going to sue your shit. It's coming. And I've all along told you, now I've been damaged. Now I'm telling you I'm going to sue you. You have 15 days to cure this. And they won't. So that's the thing that gives you, I believe, the grounds to be able to take it into the court and be successful. So I don't know were you wanting to build something, or you wanting to how you wanting to move forward here?
What's the complaint look like for something like this?
I can show you my complaint. I haven't. I don't give a shit. We could do it one of two ways. We could get in there and
Because originally when we were talking about this show, before the show, I was talking about showing him my stuff and all this. But, Amex and I have such an extensive history. I mean, it goes all the way back to the very beginning, 2022. I was sending them conditional acceptances with like long letters. I was sending Polaroids with me and pickle outfits to people who are in their payment processing areas with all sorts of love letters, and I was sending in, oh my God, so many. And that's just kind of why this case has just been such a long, dragged out case for me. And I told Joey, we were talking before the show, and I said, you know what? I just need to start from like scratch.
Yeah, I think that'd be a good idea.
I had like a 10-page affidavit and like a 30-page something else. And God, Amex would probably thinks I'm a paper terrorist at this point. Which, I mean, because there's so much time gap in between each mailing, I'd say it's probably not accurate. But if the amount of paper I've sent Amex was all in a short period of time, I wouldn't disagree with that statement.
Yeah.
But at this point, I'm just going to start from scratch. I'm going to send him some short little things like what he showed on the screen. I'm going to throw in some trademark stuff that I want to do that Joey's not thrilled about, but you know me, I want to stir the pot. I'm going to throw in a few trademark little things, but keep it really short. It's going to be like little 1.5, 2-page type letters. And then I'm just going to do this whole thing from scratch, I think, because
I think it's a good idea.
Trying to dig through all my shit it's just a nightmare. It's just not even, I literally can't do it. Like I've tried digging through everything and the things that I've sent and the things that got sent back to me and all this. And I'm just like, fuck this. I just give up every time. So.
Are you, am I still on, are you still seeing my screen?
No, you need to reshare.
Okay. Share. Okay, entire screen. Here we go. Whammo.
There it is. All 3,700 tabs.
Yeah. Fuck. I saw you said something about 100 the other day, and I kind of laughed under my breath. I'm thinking, holy fuck, I got like 6 million. This is my Snap-on folder right here, guys, just to give you an example of the fucking breadth of filings once you get in. And this is not a lot, by the way. I have this to the infinite level. This is when you have fun getting into the interrogatories. This is discovery, by the way. So this is me sending it to the bank that denied me. I had so much fucking fun in this. I was like a young Brandon here. Here's the counselor. I went to a counselor and established that I'm fucking nuts, literally. So can't get a hard on, shit like that. So I took it to the nth degree here that they did not want anything to do with me. So, the attorneys for Snap-on are saying, oh, we're going to fucking send a HIPAA form to you. And I'm like, bro, don't even worry about it. I'm going to put you in touch with my fucking counselor. I mean, this is going to be great. They're like, holy fuck, what are we going to do? They didn't know how to handle me. Because it's typical that most people are running from them, and I'm running to them with it. Please, let me let you talk to the bank, Bob Hickman, man. He's the one that denied it, and it's all because you guys are fucked up, and and they're like, holy shit. So they got to see everything. But here is my original complaint. It's funny, I look at it now, but this is like my first federal case I ever fucking filed right here. So complaint for violations and a jury demand. Me, here's who I was going against. So pretty simple. I mean, here it is. This is some of the stuff that you were reading on that first page that's built in. Again, I can't take 100% credit for this. I was smart enough to go read what the bar cards.
A lot of this is taken from all the stuff that you are researching through PACER, right?
100%. Yeah, I'm taking it off of the PACER stuff, but also it corresponds with the FCRA that you were just reading off of a minute ago too. So I'm referencing literally what they're saying in that. So here's the jurisdiction. What statutes pertain here. 1681P is a good one because it talks about, I think, the person and the jurisdiction of the court there. I thought that was kind of cool as it relates to just this statute here. Here's the parties, me, Kokomo, Indiana, and the defendant Snap-on, Experian, Equifax, where they're located at. So just tells you kind of their address, but also that they're doing business in the state of Indiana. So just establishing all of that stuff. And then talking about the allegations, what went on. I sent them these letters. They signed for them. Then we're getting into the facts. Here I am starting to explain a little bit about what eOscar is. We talked about that a little bit ago in depth and what it is. It's a system that reads your reports electronically. ACDVs is what happens once they get that. It's called an automatic credit dispute verification. You'll see that on forums if you get into discovery and wonder what the ACDV is. That's your dispute, and then they take your dispute electronically and they send it to the furnisher or back and forth. That's what that is, man. So when you start saying ACDVs, that's what they're doing, is talking back and forth. Anyway, I mean, it's a pretty simple complaint, but even now, my complaints now are way more simple than this. This was like kind of Joey being a Brandon at that particular point in my life. But here
this was, how many pages is this? 24?
It's 30 pages.
Nowadays, you'd probably,
13, 15 max. I'd cut it in half.
You think that much, huh?
Yeah, probably. By the time that I kind of go through explaining the eOscar and just kind of a general, yeah.
Do you need to explain all that?
No, you don't need to at all. No, but I do. I'm talking about, when they received, you see that, Snap-on received Colleen Finnerty, signed for it February 18th of 2022. That's funny because that's right. I think it was June when I filed the case. So I just go to the infinite detail. I ask them to fix or delete. That's all I wanted. Just fix the fucking shit. So anyway, I get into the details of what the letters look like here too, as I'm disputing it, what each of those components were. And just giving them an overview of that. And I think I get into the causes of action here in just a minute between each of the three. Inaccuracies that they had. So this is not terribly long. Kind of looks like it. But here are the damages that I had as a result of this. I've been denied credit. I'm unable to rebuild my fucking stuff. I'm crazy now. So here we go. First cause of action. So I'm listing that 1681 EB that we talked about before, talking about the maximum accuracy and stuff that they have. So I'm just kind of spelling that out for them and talking about who was at fault, why they were at fault, and just explaining it. Again, it's all about storytelling when you get into the court. You're talking about the whole story, and building the evidence is what allows you to be able to tell this story right here, right now. All of that stuff you saw in that folder and what I've been talking about building for my fictitious gal, Raina, is this right here now in action. I'm taking all of that stuff, I'm putting it here, and we're letting the court know. So what they have to do under these causes of action is Experian and Equifax is who this is directed at. They have to answer each one of these paragraphs.
Mm-hmm.
They have to come in here and answer these things, and what they'll do is some general denial and some affirmative defenses and stuff. But Equifax knew or should have known that Snap-on was reporting shit out. So I'm telling the court that, hey, I let Equifax know. And I also let Snap-on know, and the two of them were talking and saying everything was okay, and meanwhile, here we are. And quite honestly, as I've shared in another video with you, I showed the discovery process of this that showed that they were actually re-verifying inaccurate information again. So, when you go to that level in detail, they cannot get away from it, man. It's just like impossible for them to do. So I'm actually referencing some case law here out in your circuit, actually, funny enough, Ninth Circuit. So pretty simple, man. Willful violations, they owe me a lot of money. So second cause of action, pretty straightforward as well. S2 and I, each one, furnisher and agency. So I just methodically go through here, man. It looks like it's
if you're building all this based off of what bar cards are writing, do you think that the bar card wrote all this to just bill?
I would say.
Or do you think it's actually necessary?
I think it's necessary to establish, even though all of them that are in the case know all of this shit very well. But I think it's a good idea for you to kind of get your head around to do this, because it lets the bar cards know that you know as well, or at least you should know if you're putting this stuff down. For me, what I found is when I put this complaint in there and I had my first hearing before the court, they kind of felt me out to see if, in fact, I was the. She asked me point blank, the magistrate did, has anybody helped you? And I'm like, no, Your Honor, I've got an advanced degree, but if the court will allow, I think I'm swift enough. She goes, no, Mr. Kimbrough, I can tell you're going to be okay. You know, so they'll test you to see if this
You
shit
just copied
right
and
here,
pasted all
yeah,
this shit from somewhere else, or
what a lot of
AI,
people
or
do.
God knows what. Yeah.
Yeah, or they'll get somebody to help them out and
Well, that's why I've never gotten a hearing. No, I'm just kidding.
yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, it makes sense that.
Well, I mean, I'm a super unique situation because you don't need to feel me out. You just type my name into the internet for 3 seconds and you know what you're dealing with. Which
I know that, and I think that's true. Here's what I would give a young whippersnapper, Brandon. The same advice that I gave the fucker before that didn't listen. You know, it was like when I told him to leave his name off. We dealt with that for a long time. Build it like this right here. Leave the fucking trademark stuff out, then references to negotiable instruments, and you'll fly through this thing just like I did. If you want to take those on, what you do, by the way, you do want to take on those arguments.
I'm thrilled. I can't wait.
I know you will.
It's the best part. It's the best part.
You're going, and then later on you're going to say, well, fuck, I should have done that. But you're not looking for the win. And that's
well, no, because the thing is, I can always file all the crazy shit, go crazy for a while, and then if I lose or if something happens, I can always just file another one or do some more magic letters and then do it. You know, there's no losing really if you think about it.
If the only thing you got to watch there, two things for the people that are listening that are not terribly familiar with the procedural component of that, is you got to look at the statutory timing, just making sure that your complaint lines up with timing, meaning if Amex is on your report 15 years ago, statutorily you've probably got 6, I believe it is, that you need to bring those. So there's that component.
What do you mean? After 6, it falls off automatically or something?
No. It doesn't fall off automatically, but that's all the time that you would have to bring the complaint forward before the court. So, yeah, you're not going to go back 15 years ago and say, oh, I was damaged from this, and it was on my report 15 years ago. So
like a statute of limitations kind of a thing?
It is a statute of limitations. Yeah, that's what I was getting at. So you've got that to kind of look for. And the other one is, as you and I know, is make sure that it's without prejudice. If, in fact, like Brandon just said there, and we kind of glazed over it, he doesn't give a shit if it gets tossed or not, as long as he gets in the game. But if it gets tossed with prejudice, he's fucked. He cannot bring those claims
now, hold on a second. What if the cause of action was I sent these letters, I requested this thing, and you didn't do it, and then it's dismissed with prejudice, and then I start over all the way from the beginning, and I sent new letters, new things, a whole new thing, and then I'm building a whole new thing with the same causes of action, but it's a whole different activity, that wouldn't have anything to do with the previous with prejudice.
If it's under 15 U.S.C. 1681, they're going to say that it's already been argued. They're probably going to say something like res judicata. They're going to say it's been in a competent court of jurisdiction. They've already.
But if you fuck with me, if you fuck with my car, and I sue you for fucking with my car, and then I lose, and then a year later I sue you again for fucking with my car in a different, like it's the same tire of the same side of the car, same slash of the tire with the same kind of tool at the same kind of a day in the same place, but it's a year later and it's a different incident, you would have to essentially push the claim that it's not res judicata, right? I mean, that's not.
Yeah. So the way that's handled, and that's a great point. And I'm going to use the context of settlement agreements. So for me in that case, the Snap-on case, I had Snap-on, Equifax, and Experian. Let's just use Experian for an example. We settled in, let's just say, July 27th of 22. I could not, it was, the claims were released with prejudice from July 2nd, 27th of 22, all the way back in history. If on July 29th of 22, they're on my report clowning around, I can sue them again.
That's what I meant.
Yeah, that's exactly what I think you're referring to.
So really, I mean, I already realized this a while ago. You really can't lose. I mean, really.
It's hard.
Well, you can't lose with prejudice. Doesn't mean fucking anything. Okay, fine. I sent some new fucking letters, and we start all over again. And then I got to start all over again. It's kind of a little bit of a pain in the ass, I guess. But it's really, you didn't really lose.
Yeah.
You lost a one round of a ring fight. I mean, the reason why I like to bring these things up is because you get so involved. I gotta win. It's my one chance. I got one fucking bullet in the chamber, and you get nervous. The bar cards don't give a fuck. They're getting paid either way. So the bar cards are cool, calm, collected.
Yeah.
They call you a psychopath, sovereign citizen, vapor money theory. You're already fucking thinking, oh my God, I gotta win. I've only got this one fucking bullet in the chamber. One of the biggest things for me is just realizing you can't fucking lose. It's impossible.
Right.
If you lose with prejudice, you just start over again, start sending new letters. Fuck you. This shit's still on my record. This isn't res judicata. You can put it in your letters. This isn't res judicata because this is a whole new thing. We're doing a whole new thing now. What's the deal? Or whatever. Or if you send in bills, like I just had a small claims case for the city of Glendale, round 2. It was just approved yesterday, and I'll be posting more about that here soon. I told the lawyer over the phone. I literally called the lawyer at the city of Glendale, and I said, "You guys realize I can sue you every single month? Do you realize that?" And he was like, "What do you mean, Mr. Williams?" And I go, "Well, you send me a goddamn unconditional order to pay every single month, don't you?" Yes, Mr. Williams. Well, if I send you if I endorse the instrument and I tender it back to the person entitled to enforce the instrument, which is you guys, and you guys don't dishonor the instrument and instead you refuse the instrument, then now I have the right to sue you under the California Commercial Code, Division 3, Section 3603B, which is UCC 3-603B. And he goes, "Well, Mr. Williams, we're going to have to just agree to disagree. We don't accept that kind of payment, blah, blah." I go, "Well, you realize I can sue you every single month. You send me a bill, you send me an unconditional order to pay, I endorse, send it back, and then I sue you. And then next month, what are you going to do? You're going to send me an unconditional order to pay." I said, every single one of those unconditional orders to pay it's completely separate situation. "Oh, well, Mr. Williams, if you do that, you're going to be labeled a frivolous filer, blah, blah, blah." I said, "Why?" I said, you guys are not benefiting me, and you guys are essentially harming me every single month, and you're breaking the law. I said, why am I going to be filed as a frivolous filer? "Well, Mr. Williams, we're just going to have to agree to disagree." I said, "Okay." I said, you'll see me again." That was a while ago.
Armenians.
I haven't sued them in a while. So here I am. I'm back, boys. They're going to be excited to see me. Boy, they're going to be excited to see me. And I'm trying to do the small claims now. I'm just trying it out, just testing it out.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see the small claims. It goes straight to a fucking judge, like bang. Like there's not even any fucking. It's just file and then bang, you're in front of a judge. So that'll be the first time I get in front of a judge. That'll be exciting. At least I'll get somewhere. So yeah, I'm going to try that out. And if that doesn't work out, then I got more bills sitting over here. I got bills coming every month. So they'll be seeing me in state court. They'll be seeing me. I'm not going anywhere.
Two things that you said there that I think are really deserving of conversation. And because a lot of people miss that, I think they're looking for, they being the bar cards, are looking to incite an emotional response from you. They know that we're going to get fucking fired up because of some stupid shit they're doing, and they're masters at this shit. I mean, so when they're firing off a missile, it's typically some horse shit, and it's designed to give an elicit a response from you, typically negative, for you to say some stupid shit, and we all realize that. And the other part, too, of that is it's usually presumptive in nature. We reference that Rule 301 of the Federal Rules of Evidence, and I love that. And presumptions go both ways, by the way, too. You can say horseshit just like they can, but they're masters of that, too. Here's where people get fucked up, is they'll fire a shit missile over, a presumption, and we all get so mad about they're lying. Are they? Are you a pink elephant or not? I don't know if you are or not. They're saying you are. Until you rebut that it stands as fact. So they'll put whatever they want across there, knowing you and I probably don't know what the fuck they're doing there. We do now. And it will stand if it's not rebutted, and it now becomes fact. And that is such an important key concept for anybody to realize. That's why you're getting beat in court like your fucking redheaded stepchildren. It's happening all of the time. They're sending presumptions across, knowing they're going to elicit a response, and it's typically not going to be good response. Instead of, I am rebutting that presumptive, non-substantive argument that you just put across, and here are the actual facts. It's that simple right there, man. And if you do it with an affidavit or a declaration, at least, it now has serious legal bearing on it, because you've now signed up to under the penalty of perjury. So people just don't understand that whole process right there. And that is the key to winning in court, is to know what they're doing, know how to handle yourself accordingly, and why it's being done, and how you can combat that. And it's like, I'm never going to get in an argument with a bar card any more than I am with a police officer on the side of the road litigating. It's just not going to happen. So I'm just going to say, hey, I object to this. It's presumptive, and then I'm going to list the facts. It's that simple. It's really that simple. But
and if you have case law or statutes that you can reference,
you've got persuasive authority.
Then you have 402 says that evidence can be admitted if it's against the Constitution, statute, etc. So you can say that this bullshit they're saying is not admissible as per 402 because of the following reasons, and then you list the constitutional and statutory, and that's like really strong. That's really, really strong.
Yeah, the part 2 of that 301 that we really didn't talk about there is, it says persuasive authority stays with the party that brought the presumption across.
Persuasion.
Yeah, so you just now fired a shit missile over here at me, and now I rebutted that successfully and said, here it is through declaration, here are the facts. You still have the burden of persuasion to say, no, it's not, because, and here's why that's important. If I fired a declaration, guess what they have to meet me with? Is a declaration of the same.
Or affidavit.
Well, they won't.
Yeah, they never.
So they won't, or call a witness or whatever they do. That's why you have to understand that they're advocates, they're not witnesses, and you need to know how to handle that. And I mean, that's just, it's stuff that people, because they see you and me and we've done crazy shit or whatever in the past, and they think, fuck it, I'm going to do that too. And you just go in and you get your shit rocked with a 12B6 motion to dismiss, and you don't understand, and now you're fired up and pissed off, and the courts are scam and they're fucking crooks. And no, they're not. You're just a dumb motherfucker trying to play Monopoly with chess rules. They've given you the rules and you don't know how to. I mean, I've been there. I've done it too. And I still fall for that sometimes. But I back up and I watch what's going on. I'm watching what's kind of happening and stuff. And it's really not hard. We just make it a lot harder than what it truly is. It's designed to confuse you, though. It's designed to throw you off. I'm not mad at them about the whole presumptive thing. It is what it is, And so just, you got to know how to handle it.
Yeah, it's like going into the UFC rink and thinking you're going to knock somebody out with one punch day one.
Yeah.
It's just dumb. I mean, think about this. People go to school for how long? I've talked to several bar cards. They tell me, Brandon, the first thing I had to figure out when I got out of college? How to file a lawsuit.
Yeah, that's exactly
Every single one of them.
Yes.
Every single one of them has told me that. So let's say you go to school and become a bar card, 6 years, 5 years, whatever it is. You come out. Now you got to go work as an intern or apprentice at some law firm, probably as a paralegal. You're basically going to become someone's bitch. They're going to put you in a fucking gimp suit with a goddamn fucking ball gag. You're going to be there for, I don't know, a year or two. So your typical person going to school for almost anything is not really going to get rolling typically for anywhere from, let's say on the fastest end, maybe 5 years, let's say on the fast end, because you got 4 years for college and then a year of getting your feet wet.
Mm-hmm.
On the extreme end, doctors, surgeons, dentists, you got 8 years of school, and then you've got 1 to 2 years to get your feet wet, to get things rolling. So on the extreme end, it's 10 years to get rolling. I have been doing this litigation stuff with Joey since about January of last year. And then I read my very, very first book on the subject of anything legal anywhere September of 2021. So it depends on where you want to say I actually started. Do you want to say I started with my first crack of my first book? Or do you want to say I started when I first started getting into litigation? If you want to start from the angle of litigation, I'm only a year and a half into this. So, I mean, if I'm at my 5 year mark and I still can't survive a 12B6, I'll probably just go lay on train tracks and end myself because there's just nothing to even live for at that point. But I just don't think it's going to take that. I don't think, let's say it takes 2 years. 2 years to become proficient in an entire technology without having to go to school or become a bar card or anything. I mean, that's amazing. That's beautiful. Mm-hmm. To have a massive, super high-paying career in 2 years. I mean, hello, like I don't have very many haters. They come on, oh, he's lost all of his cases. Okay, I mean, I'm thrilled to have it. I'll lose tomorrow. It's great, fantastic. I don't know. I mean, I don't see of any other path. I mean, could I go to law school? That sounds like a lot of currency that I need to spend or loans or whatever. And 90% of it's going to be horse shit. I mean, why would I waste my time and get loans? And it's awful. I mean, the fact that we can just go around all that. 2 years of work it just doesn't seem like anything to me. It just seems like I feel so blessed to lose all these cases and get my ass handed to me and just over and over and over again, and knowing that within a couple of years, I'll be in a position where I actually have traction with these things. I mean, it's just nothing to me. It's like paying the price to have success. I mean, I'm paying the lowest price for the highest amount of success, I feel like.
Yeah, the return is definitely there. I think one of the biggest things for me, Brandon, and I know you're kind of geeking out on this a little bit too, and I'm going to show this here, is the next kind of phase for the important stuff. I'm looking at Indiana court rules here from a state level, but these mirror what you have in the federal courts too, by the way. And this is what I was talking about. This is the Judicial Code of Conduct, or what is referred to as the canons. And the reason why I'm doing it here in Indiana and not the federal level, because in Indiana it goes a bit deeper in the explanations. It's got the terminology. So if you look over here, this is definitions. So this is where Brandon's going to have a fun time here. No doubt about that when you see this. But this is for the judge. This explains to him or her how they are supposed to operate in the courts. When you know this right here, you can control the judges in the courts. So this takes everything we're talking about here right now, and this is one of those 4 buckets I was talking about. But look at law. Law was something that I always thought was just statutory in reference, but it encompasses court rules as well as statutes, constitutional provisions, and decisional law, case law. That one right there is the big one for me, the court rules. And that's the one that they fuck up as much as anything. And you'll go down here, look at impartial impropriety includes conduct that violates the law, court rules, or provisions of this code. So when you start looking at these and you truly take this in, and you know this better than anybody, including them, impartial is a huge one too, because it truly spells out here. We could go through, if we went through all of this stuff in the 4 buckets, we'd be on here for 6 months. But I'm just giving you like a high level of what I started looking at when I was looking at the canons, and they're pretty short in nature. But impartial means the absence of bias or prejudice in favor of or against particular parties or classes of parties, as well as maintenance and keeping an open mind, essentially. Well, I've referenced this when I'm giving a lawyer or a judge a spanking in some capacity, is I go crazy with that right there. You're not showing impartiality. You're being very partial with the other party. But if you look at just kind of the canons, they're very short and sweet. A judge shall comply with the law. Remember what the law was, court rules. And you're going to see court rules get violated like crazy as far as timing goes, as far as showing excusable neglect, all of that stuff that you'll start looking for whenever you're filing cases. Shall comply with the law. They don't, so that's the thing.
I would almost say, like, if the bar cards had a code of conduct, like point number 1 would be break all the rules until somebody says you can't. Seriously.
That's so true, man. A judge shall act at all times in a manner that promotes public confidence in the independence, integrity, and impartiality of the judiciary. Shall avoid impropriety. I love the comments down here too. That's where they really do a deep dive and kind of tell you. And again, I'm not going to go through all of these, but man, if you read these and these, you'll start saying, holy fuck, man, they are literally stepping on everything. I mean, one more I'll point out here. I was just looking at just a second ago. Competence, diligence, and stuff, but prejudice, bias. I mean, if you read these things,
sovereign citizen is all of these things, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, they're supposed to keep the integrity of the court. When they're allowing somebody to call you a sov-cit and all this other horse shit, the moment that you point that out, they should be shutting it down, and then you point to the appropriate
should be. Should be is the key.
Canon. Well, that's the key. Is we don't know. And we allow.
I listed the canons in my appeals case, so we'll see how.
Yeah.
We'll see how the appeals court takes it. I mean, I wrote quite a bit, as you saw before the show, on sovereign citizen. There's no definition. There's no legal definition. It doesn't explain what kind of citizenship you have. Is it U.S. citizenship? Is it state citizenship? Is it non-citizen national of the United States, which are the 3 classifications? It doesn't specify which one of those. There's only one of those where like someone like Roger Taney has talked about how it forms the sovereignty, which would be the state citizen category. So as far as I'm concerned, the only category which could contain the word citizen and the word sovereign would be the state citizen category. And the way that Roger Taney explains it in Dred Scott versus Sanford is he talks about how people of the United States and citizen is the same term, and that term comprises or composes the sovereignty and the political body of which form the sovereignty. And then I've been digging a lot into that, and it's because, and this is not my words, I just started finding a lot of Supreme Court justices talking about the Magna Carta. The Magna Carta is basically a document that the king created in the English culture back in like 1215, and it extended all the powers of the king into the people in the kingdom. And then that kind of went down over the course of 800 years through the English culture. And then we came from the English culture. We broke off from the English culture. We brought that with us. So when someone like Roger Taney, and I didn't understand this when I first read this, and I didn't understand this until just maybe a week ago, really, the way that each of the states are formed for state citizens, nothing I'm talking about right now has anything to do with U.S. citizens, it's literally the exact, each individual of the 50 states of the Union is actually under the same functionality as when England was under the functionality of the Magna Carta. It's like tiny little Englands under the Magna Carta. You have 50 little Englands that are all individually under the Magna Carta, essentially. And this is all brand new. I haven't really mentioned this anywhere yet on anything. And this is coming out of so many different Supreme Court cases from the 1800s. I saw the Magna Carta so many times that I'm just like, all right, fine. What is this thing? I got to look at this thing. So when Roger Taney in Dred Scott versus Sanford is saying how people of the United States, referring to the first line of the Constitution, I believe, and citizen mean the same thing, and it composes the sovereignty. What he's talking about, he's just talking about how each of the 50 individual states are essentially this like micro-English type nation through the Magna Carta, where everyone basically has the same rights and powers of the king. And I found one case where they say the same rights and powers of the king by his prerogative is the exact terminology on it, right? And that's why we have a grand jury system. So the grand jury system is you're part of you and that's something that's been really confusing for me too, like individual sovereignty versus state sovereignty. It's really a group sovereignty that extends into an individual sovereignty. And if you fail to play by the rules, the group decides to cut your individual sovereignty out and you are extricated from that sovereignty. And that is the grand jury indictment system. 23 people, so you're sovereign as an individual, but you're inside of a sovereignty, a mass. It's the mass that contains the sovereignty. And then there's 23 other people that are saying, we are placing our sovereignty and saying that you no longer have the right to form our sovereignty. And they strip the person's sovereignty of which they've gotten from the group, and that is essentially the grand jury indictment system in a nutshell, right? And this is all brand new technology. I haven't really talked about this anywhere. And the U.S. citizen category opened up people being allowed to be prosecuted using what's called an information. Have you ever heard that term before?
No.
So you'll see in criminal cases, the court has before it an information. The term information, which is a noun, an information, is basically a charging document that's not from a grand jury. It's from a prosecutor, a state prosecutor or a federal prosecutor. For example, the FBI doesn't hold a grand jury. They would prosecute through what's called an information. Now, the thing is that if you're a U.S. citizen, you're not a member of the sovereignty, which is exactly why when you look at the incorporation doctrine, the right to a trial by jury is not actually incorporated for U.S. citizens. It never was. And the reason why is because you are not a member of the sovereignty that Roger Taney is talking about in the Dred Scott case. So because you're not a member of the sovereignty, you don't have the protections of a grand jury indictment, and you can be indicted through what's called an information. And that's what traffic tickets are. That's what everything that says criminal where there's no grand jury indictment, it's an information indictment. And the only way you can be indicted through an information is because you're a U.S. citizen and not a state citizen. So it's brand new information that I haven't really talked about much, but I find it absolutely fascinating, and it gives us a deeper view into, I think one of the issues that we've had as a group is that we stand so hard on individual sovereignty, and the court systems don't like that, right? And I think that's where the sovereign citizen term comes from. It comes from this like, fuck you, I have the rights to the body of sovereignty while at the same time being outside of the sovereignty, right? When in actual fact, it just requires more communication and more clarity as to like exactly where you are and why you're there and how you got there in relation to other things. For example, saying, oh, I have a right to a jury trial, and then, on your documents, you say you're a U.S. citizen. Well, I'm sorry, but you actually don't. So the thing is that you have to understand all this stuff first, and then you can quote unquote stand on your rights, but you have to understand your rights in order to stand on them. How can you stand on something you don't understand, right? So I forgot why I got into this, but I find it obviously fascinating. I mean, this is all I do all day long. But
you'll now that you know how to do research and pacer, I'm telling you, I may not hear from you again for like 6 months.
I'm pretty excited. No, I'm definitely pretty excited. I'm definitely going to be looking up.
Well, now you can do some research on negotiable instruments to see if there's something pretty cool out there, from a complaint that you can jump off of, like I have from the 1681 stuff, and there may be, who knows, your district or another, it may be another district. All you need is one.
New York might be a good spot to look at. Yeah, New York City.
New York would definitely be ones with the security stuff over there. Yeah, or DC. One of those two. Yeah.
Anyways, we've been going for about 6 hours. 2 hours here and then 4 hours before. So I think I'm kind of toasted, to be honest with you.
Yeah, well, it's only 9:30 for you. It's 12:30 for me. So.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, anything else you want to say on this? Anything else you want to add or anything you want to close with or anything?
We talked about, and it's kind of controversial. Me and you have completely polar beliefs, I think, around jurisdiction and some of that stuff. It's not one to hash through. I know a lot of people in this space. I was saying earlier, from a criminal standpoint, I see a lot of people running from another group's jurisdiction. And then you see somebody like me that says, I don't give a fuck if I'm a 14th Amendment, a U.S. citizen, or a pink elephant. I could care less. I'm running towards jurisdiction. And I don't want that to be confusing to people. Brandon and I have a lot of the basic concepts of what we believe in, our rights, and all of that other stuff nailed down. I mean, people always hit my inbox. Do you believe what Brandon believes, kind of stuff? And it feel like it's kind of pitting us against. It's not. I mean, we're going to have differences. All of us are in what we. But at the end of the day, I think we're looking for getting our claims in front of the court, being able to present those claims, in a fashion. I'm not a fan of negotiable instruments as they're presented right now, only because I don't have anything to reference from a case law standpoint or anything that's going to give me teeth. So I'm not one time seen, and I say I've researched thousands of cases. I know Brandon's going to be able to surpass that now when he gets in there and starts looking in Pacer. That's what I was referencing. But
No, I look for really, really key cases that have structured massive sections of our entire country, and they're extremely long. Like almost everything Roger Taney's ever written in terms of like major Supreme Court cases. I mean, he goes on and on and on. It's like a goddamn book, every single one. So like I've reading one of those can take me months.
I've not seen, and I keep those in mind too. It's funny, you and I'll have a good, debate or something about that. Like Dred Scott, I'm, and it's funny. We were texting one night. This has been several months ago, and you were saying, "I can tell this is upsetting you." No, I don't give a fuck. I mean, honestly, I'm just telling you, bro. As a friend, I don't give a fuck about Dred or Scott or his uncle or Ted or Larry or any of them. I don't give a fuck. I'm a U.S. citizen. I love the 14th. Fuck it. Okay. So, but it's like, here's the thing that I think it's not frustrating at all, because I truly believe in arguing these points too. And just as a side note, just because there's case law, even a Supreme Court decision that, as we just found out in Roe v. Wade, those can be changed. They can be overturned. They can be changed in a second. So just because something's out there, it's not been challenged. Maybe we're the ones to challenge that in some capacity.
Well, that's the thing. Somebody has to come along. If we want to do something about, like, say, slaughterhouse, for example, if someone doesn't come along and bring the claims, it's never going to change. I mean, you just for someone to say, "Oh, it'll get changed." Well, it hasn't been changed in 150 years. Who's to say it's going to get changed in the next 150 years?
Exactly.
And many judges have talked about the slaughterhouse cases and how fucked up it is and how misconstrued it was. And it's considered the most controversial case, literally, it's ever happened, even in the judicial community. So the thing is it's like, why is it so shocking that someone would say, "Hey, judicial branch, the most controversial case you guys have even said ever, I want to talk about it."
Mm-hmm.
How is that so shocking? Yeah, it hasn't happened in 150 years, but you guys are the ones who say it's the most fucking controversial case that's ever happened in the entire history of the country. Well, I find it fascinating. I want to talk about it.
Yeah. Now, the reason why I kind of get tuned out, let's call it, with the whole citizen argument is I just, understandably so, have never seen that be a part of my space, meaning the credit space. I've never seen, out of, let's say, the 100 cases I keep referencing and 45 that I know of that I was a part of, we never talk about citizenship. We don't give a fuck. It's like, here are the parties. Nobody, okay, yeah, we're looking around. Nobody's bitching about that. Here are here's the jurisdictional component that gives the court, which I always want. And if somebody started racking me on that to say that you don't have jurisdiction and here's why, I don't think that that's ever going to be something there. And I think it for people that are just starting out, that my fear is that taking on, I don't even understand a lot of the stuff as far as the citizenship goes, state, national, fuck it, American, hillbilly. I don't know what the fuck you are. I just don't care, honestly. I just want the court to have jurisdiction. I know who I think I am, and so far it's worked every time. You know, I'm a hillbilly fucker with a beard in Indiana. Fuck it. You know, I live here in this county, and you guys, it's in your, you know, your jurisdiction to be able to handle it. And I haven't had a problem with that. For me to take on that argument, and I see so many people doing that, that they're getting really crazy about who the fuck they think they are. They'll make that the center of their whole court appearance kind of thing. And it's never, in my experience, I've never seen that one time be a central issue. It's only that if we make it that. So that's just kind of my caveat there. If you want it to be the central issue of your case, go ahead, go on in there. You be you, girlfriend, and see what happens. I'm just telling you.
Well, like I was telling Joey before the show, I'm going to be cutting that portion of the complaint way down. In fact, I'm cutting every portion of the complaint way down. I'm going to try to get, I'm trying to get like 4 pagers, and that includes the entire front page with the lines and the defendant and the signature section, which is like basically a page and a half. So I'm looking at like 2.5 pages of actual, and I'm trying to make it like super ultra double spaced too, with like big gaps in between the sentences. So like really it's like basically a page or like page and a half of like actual real content. That's kind of what I'm trying to get to right now. I'm kind of going on a whole swinging the other direction kind of a thing right now. You'll be seeing that in my SBA or my small claims case that I just filed. So I'm kind of swinging the other way entirely. So I'm totally tracking with you. I mean, obviously, my main concern, like I told you before the show, is I don't want to put on anything that I'm a U.S. citizen, because that would be, first off, to me, it'd just be a complete falsity. Second off, it would be a felony for me. And third off, I would never want anyone in the future to use my complaints against me later and say, look, 2 years ago, he filed this case and he said he was a U.S. citizen, and then now they're going to be using that against me somewhere else. I mean, I don't have any like litigation issues or whatever. I just like what we talked about in Austin. I mean, I'm kind of just a purist, and you're more of a strategist. You have more of a winning mentality. I have more of a, I forget who I was talking to. I don't know if I was talking to you before the show or somebody else, but if I had the option to win a lawsuit or just get a lot of my questions answered, frankly, I'd probably pick getting my questions answered. I mean, the information is more valuable to me than the Federal Reserve notes. I mean, you know, so I don't know. It's just a difference in basic mentality. It's a different, I mean, you love America and you got rid of your driver's license or whatever. So it's like, it's not, you're not Mr. File Taxes, have a driver's license either. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Since you and I started talking, you have had some shift in that area. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure if the IRS came to your door and knocked on your door and you opened the door and they said, hi, I'm Special Agent McNeil with the Internal Revenue Service. Are you Mr. Kimbrough? And the first question out of their mouth is, Mr. Kimbrough, are you a U.S. citizen? I'm sure you'd probably stop and double think what you're about ready to say if you were to answer that question.
That has happened before, too. Not recently, but several years ago, they did. Scared the shit out of my wife. I was working, in the corporate world. And I think I've told you this, is we had to go to Carmel, Indianapolis, and go to we go in this little 5x8 room, and there's an American flag there. There's a glass. You tap on it, the guy comes. But when he came to the house, I was gone at work. He has a 9mm strapped, and he's got the badge and the whole appearance that they want to, shake you. But when we went down there, went in the back, and at that time, I'd sold a bar, so they were just doing an informal audit on me to see if there was any way they could get any revenue. So anyway, he says, hey, what's your Social Security number? I gave him the Social Security number. He left, came back a few minutes later. He says, you're good. Wait a minute, am I going to get a letter from you guys? You scared the fucking shit? And that's what happens, and there we are invoking that response. No, you'll never get anything from us, Mr. Kimbrough. But I'm just telling you, you're good. You can go. And that was like, that was 15, maybe 20 years ago too. So, yeah, completely different than what it would be now. It would be different.
Yeah, if they came knocking and they said, are you a U.S. citizen, and they wanted your social security number, I mean, I would imagine at minimum you would want to like stop and think about that for a minute. At minimum.
Yeah, definitely that. But I think I'd play a little cat and mouse with them too. What the fuck are you? Why are you here? Who are you?
But you wouldn't just say yes or give them a social security number. Is my point. You see what I mean? So you're not really totally on the opposite side of the spectrum, because if you were, you would just hand over an SSN like it was like anybody else.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah.
And you'd have a driver's license. So we are on opposite ends of the spectrum. I'm calming down because of talking to you and connecting with you, and I'm kind of coming out of the clouds and tethering myself to the earth. And you're sort of going kind of in my direction. It's kind of a dual effect, really, if you think about it.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't see anything wrong with that. I mean, we're not here to agree and suck each other off. I mean, that's not why we're here. We're here to get something done that's important. We're here to educate people and change the trajectory of the horse shit that we live inside of, the fucking nightmare of ignorance. I think our agreements on the 14th Amendment every single minute of the day and what you think or how you would file every single complaint is kind of irrelevant because, like I said, I mean, if shit hit the fan or if you got a fucking indictment for God knows fraud or whatever else, and I'm sure all of a sudden the 14th Amendment argument would start looking real good. Just like when I was talking to Dave Champion. We've done 2 shows. I forget which show it was, but even he's like, oh no, if they came knocking, that'd be one of the first things we'd be talking about is the presumption that I'm a 14th Amendment U.S. citizen, right? But you don't see him online talking about that.
Right, yeah.
You see? But he said in one of our shows, he's like, oh no, if they came knocking, bang, that's one of the first presumptions I'm going to be clearing up with them, right? But he's not online talking about the 14th Amendment and talking about citizenship. He does talk about it in his book, though. He does talk about it in his book, but he doesn't go on and on and on about it. It's a fairly concise section. He doesn't reference the slaughterhouse cases to my memory, but he does mention it. He does mention it in the book. But if you haven't read his book, I don't know how often he talks about it.
Yeah, that's the great thing. You can change on a moment's notice, and presumptions are real and they go both ways. And just if there was anything that I could get people to understand is shit's coming across all the time, and you just have to be able to handle that, and you can change the presumptive thing is real when you get into the courts, man, and they're going to say whatever they have to throw you off. And I'm not mad at them about that. I'm truly not, because if I hired a bar card, which I'll never do in this lifetime, I don't care what I've done, that I would want them to do that. So I'm not mad. I get that. I understand it from the other side of you looking at the other side of the aisle. I want the baddest ass motherfucker that's going to say everything, snorting shit flying out of his mouth. I mean, I want that guy or gal. And so I'm not mad at them. When I see that energy coming across, I just kind of grin and say, you would be the dude that I would hire anyway, but now here it is, it's coming back at you. I'm not mad. Most people don't understand that from my experience, and then they just get so frustrated when it happens to them. It's like, it's not a big deal. They're there to lie. It's a legal lie, I call it.
Mm-hmm.
So, it is what it is. It's a game, and it's like being on Broadway. You're in this fucking play, and now it's just, there's a whole bunch of actors and stuff, and you just need to know how to navigate, So that's the key.
Good deal.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else? Anything else you want to say here? Or
I don't think so. No, enjoyed it. We had a good time in Austin. Everybody was there. Shout out to you guys. Here we are. We're still doing it. And
oh, yeah, that was super fun.
It was great energy.
The energy was through the fucking roof, dude.
Crazy energy.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that was it was a fun experience to be in that environment. Bunch of hippie motherfuckers and
it wasn't like a pump up jerk off type pumped up energy. It was like nobody was trying to pump up anybody at all, and it was just still just naturally just through the fucking roof. Beautiful.
Yeah. From everywhere. Every
yeah.
facet of life. Doctors were there, cops were there, fucking you name it was there. You had a bunch of gypsies, you had fucking people. I mean, it's just cool. It was a really,
no, it really is
mixing pot.
You go in there and you think like, wow, what is this? A democratic, pride club or something? Because it's just like you don't see stuff where it's just everybody from every walk of life, in a thing. It's like, oh no, it's like these guys over here are 6-shooter toting Texans that would die for the American flag, and these people over here are nomadic gypsies that travel around in vans and, shamans. And yeah, it's just like everything. It's crazy.
It was a cool vibe, man, to get everybody there, and everybody had the same mentality and mindset for learning, and that was fun to see.
We'll be doing more at some point. I have nothing planned, but I'm sure we'll do more at some point. Like I said before the show, I'm sure we'll. And I'll announce that. I want to do something way in advance, 3 or 4 months in advance, ideally. So. All right, man. Well, thank you so much. I think this is going to be really helpful. And we'll see you soon. We'll see you later. Oh, want to say one thing. How can people find you if they're interested in becoming part of your group? Like, you want to talk about that at all? Like how that works, or what the sign-up fees are, or where they would go, or who they would contact, or anything?
This was what most people would consider a high ticket offer, and it's just it's closed out. I mean, it was, you were at the event, so it was offered there. I really don't take on a lot of that stuff. Now, a lot of people will hit my inbox definitely after this. So yeah, I mean, it's and I'm going to say this jokingly, by the way, so that if this happens, you'll know that I'm fucking clowning around. If you hit my inbox, typically I'm very approachable, by the way. I love talking shop. But when I see somebody's a fucking time vampire, I'll send a link, meaning an invoice link. And if you get a 2,500 one, that means I don't want to fucking talk to you. I mean, I'm running you off. It's like you're fucking crazy and you're a tire kicker and fuck off. But if it's a $500 one, it's like my time is valuable and I'm very good at what I do when we're talking in this space. So you ought to say that that's kind of cool. All right, bro, So you'll get one of those from me if you hit my inbox. It's just like there are too many time vampires out there that want to tell me their shit, and then at the end of the fucking rainbow, they're telling they're being sued for $1,100. I'm like, fuck. This motherfucker is 170 something. I'm 154 with Amex, and we're not paying 10 cents, and you're talking to me about you can't shit fucking. You're shitting through a screen for $1,100. What the fuck? And you think I'm a $59 ebook kind of thing. It's like, no, it's like, this is years of fucking crazy struggle kind of stuff. That you can do it, by the way. I'm never going to be this person to say that I'm the smartest motherfucker in the world and you can't learn this. That's not me. You can learn this. You should learn this. Study those 4 buckets I was talking about. Get on Pacer and you'll be 5 times better than I was.
For $1,100, you could literally just be slightly annoying and they'll drop the case. You could just show up and I'm a rooster. I'm a rooster. Caw-caw, and like show up in a rooster outfit. I pretty much guarantee you they drop the case for $1,100.
Well, because the attorney's fucking cracking them for $350 an hour on
That's
the minimum.
What I mean. I mean, $1,100. Well, you're nervous about $1,100. Show up in a fucking Mario raccoon outfit. You know what I mean? And say, it's me, Mario. You know what I mean? Like you're probably gonna you know what, fuck it. We're gonna dismiss the case. I mean,
I'll get that, I'll I can't afford $500. Well, then don't fucking pay the $400 to get into federal court because you're gonna fuck it up. I promise you that. Don't waste your $400 there by giving me $5. Fuck it.
Just if you dressed up in outfits and go to court and somehow videotape or audio tape it and put it on the internet, you'll make more money from ads than you will paying the lawsuit.
That's all right.
So that's an alternative solution for you. Dress up in outfits, somehow find a way to tape it, and then put it on YouTube, and you'll make $1,100.
There you go.
There's your solution.
I get a lot of those though, man. $2,500. I'm being sued by Capital One or something. I was like, fuck, man.
Cry me a river, Jesus Christ.
Debt validation, 15 USC 1692, hit them with that. I mean, here's the thing that's good about ChatGPT, by the way. You can go in there and you can ask it the questions. If you kind of know how to prompt, it's going to give you some good answers. Now, you got to know what to ask it. You need to, so the thing that I would do is upload whatever's been sent to you. So if you went to the bottom of the ChatGPT, the prompt line there's a little plus, click that, upload file, whatever the fuck they sent you in PDF, and just start asking questions about this. Tell it to review that document and then go in there and say, how do I respond in opposition to this? And it'll give you some great examples of that and fire that fucker across, to the
and if you can't figure out how to file it, just go to the local courthouse, just file it paper. Don't even try to fuck with the computer. You have to get, in a lot of jurisdictions and stuff, you have to get permission to e-file. Mm-hmm. Just print it off and walk it down to the courthouse and say, I have no idea what the fuck I'm doing. I have this and I'm trying to file it into a case. That's all I know. And
that's what you did in the Glendale
they'll help you.
First one, yeah.
They'll help you.
Yeah.
So you don't even need to, how do I e-file and Pacer and, I need an account. Now I have to sign up for an account. And, they want a credit card. My credit card's not working. Oh my God, just print the goddamn thing off with paper in your fucking hand. If you don't have a stapler, don't worry about the stapler. Get it somehow to the courthouse physically. Have them fucking staple it and then just hand it to the lady and say, is that it? Is that all I need to do? And that's it. You're done. You don't need any bullshit. So that's an easy option. ChatGPT, print it off. I mean, definitely read it. Don't be an idiot. Mm-hmm. Don't file in, hi, I'm a cocksucker and I love to suck dick. Who knows what it's going to give you. And then file that into the case. Like, try to get some semblance of what's going on. But you could just, for $1,100, you could file in, I'm a raccoon and I like to do raccoon things. Like, for example, dig through trash. I love trash. I love trash cans. Mm-hmm. File that into the case as a response in opposition. You'll probably get the case dismissed. It costs them more money to say, well, hold on a second. He's not really a panda. He's not really a trash panda. Hold on a second. It costs more for them to even respond to it.
That's exactly right. People don't understand that too. They get all crazy. Here's that emotional response. You get somebody tapping on your door, process serving you, or you get something certified through the mail, and it's like, oh my God, people are so adverse to lawyers or process servers or the courts in general. And you don't have to be, man. I mean, it's not hard and it's not scary. It's you. They work for you. They're public servants. And when you can kind of get your mind around that, the dude's wearing the dress. I get it. He looks intimidating behind the big ass thing. There's a sheriff standing over there with a fucking 9 on his. I get it. It's that's staged for a reason like that, to get that fear and established with you. And you get past that, you'll own the conversations. It's fun to me. I love it. I truly do.
Yeah, and I think like dressing up nice and use it as a learning experience too. You know what I mean? I see a lot of people who are sued for $100 or $200 or $1,000, and they show up looking like they're homeless.
Mm-hmm. They show up looking like $100.
Exactly.
It's like, yeah. I show up. I got a couple of bucks, and I show up like, I'm ready to go, man. I'm not arrogant. I ask questions. I get answers. I'm not crazy, and I think that speaks volumes to the judge, especially. They're there to serve you, man. And that's what people freak out about. I mean, in that recent video you were referencing earlier about me getting on the guy, is, the judge is trying to help the guy out in that case, and he just doesn't understand it. And then they get in this fucking mad feeding frenzy on your page and saying, oh my God, they're not giving me jurisdiction. It's because you're fucking stupid. You're not even filling the summons out right, bro. I mean, the judge is telling you, bro, you got till July 7th. I'm trying to help you here, man.
Can you, let's say you file a case and you get a judge, can you look up by judge? Or
what do you mean? In like state court or federal court?
Either one, like on Pacer or something. Can you look up, like, let's say I have like Judge Fitzgerald. Michael Fitzgerald is the guy who did my original MX. Can you look up by judge name, or how would you find other things that judge is doing? Like, that would be, now that I think about it, that would be a really great way to get to know the judge that you've been issued.
You can, and I'm not sure how I did it, but I think this might have been me and ChatGPT having a conversation where I said, "Hey, find me persuasive authority on Mark Dinsmore in the Southern District of Indiana." And it, I believe, went to chat or wherever, and it spit back. And this is a case, really cool one, where I found recently where he had fucking cracked, of all things, what we're talking about right now, an attorney. He fucking hit him for fees for $15,000 for using fucking AI to create his briefs, and he cracked him for $5,000 times three. So this dumbass attorney, this is what we're going to find here in the very near future, is the attorneys have caught on, and they're stupid enough to fucking create all of their shit on Chat GPT or AI in general and not even look. That's how arrogant they are. Now, at least if I use any kind of reference, through case law, I go research it. Now I'm typing it into this tab that's crazy up here, and I'm going and looking, what's the opinion? Does it even make sense? Then I'm plugging the opinion in, and I'm starting to have a conversation about that too. Well, this guy, it'll fucking hallucinate every now and then, and it did. No. It spit out Jones versus Brown kind of thing, which is not a real fucking case. And, dude, don't do that. So these attorneys are getting it right now, but after it gets through them and they make an example, then it's going to come to us. So yeah, just be careful.
Double check things, and yeah.
But I think you can, though. I mean, and you're going to now play around in your district. I can already tell that's going to happen. You'll find all the Fitzgerald stuff in there, and I'm pretty sure you can do that, or whatever. It doesn't matter who the judge is. But yeah, man, you can use that as persuasive authority, right? So if dumbass is telling me, no, you can't, and he throws that across as an order, well, wait a minute, Mr. Fitzgerald, Judge Fitzgerald, in this case, Smith versus Brown in 2017, whoa, fuck. It's like, well, how did you know that? Well, I went and did a little research on you, bro. So, yeah, I mean, that's how powerful what we have in front of us is to say, wait a minute. You're showing partiality. Remember that judicial canon, the definition that we looked at a little while ago.
Mm-hmm.
If you're saying I can't do it this way, and in Smith v. Brown in 2017 you did, you're now showing partiality for that case, and you're fucking me. What is this? So, yeah, man, it's easy to find this stuff. You just have to have a willingness to do it. There's no silver bullet, and that's what a lot of people are looking for.
Magic letter.
Yeah, magic letters or whatever that is, and the courts are not out to get you. But if you're a dumbass and you're going to go in there and the other guy throws a presumption and you don't know how to fucking swing at that thing and hit it, they're going to get you. And shame on you. I was one of those too, by the way. I'm not talking down to anybody.
Oh, me too, big time. God damn.
Same thing. I went in there and I'm like, yeah, I filed this. Watch this motherfucker. The judge is going to get him down. The judge is like, who the fuck are you? It's like, what? It's the opposite of what I was expecting. They're not going to do it for you. And if you don't drive the bus, and move the court, you're fine.
And if they are doing it for you, which we see a couple people who are getting that kind of treatment, you better bless your fucking stars, because we have seen a couple people where the judge is fucking sucking them off and showing them the way and enlightening the path and fucking literally holding the goddamn lantern for them. It's unbelievable. They don't even realize it.
That's right.
And we've got a couple people, we look at their stuff and we're like, oh my God.
Yeah, you played that in my district, you'd already be dismissed. Like the guy that I was talking about the other day, the clerk clearly made the summons for him, and he didn't even realize that. Me, if that happened there, they wouldn't be doing it for me. They'd have been saying, one of those, and it's dismissed, and, because they know my name. But anyway, it's like people don't even realize. And then they start this whole conspiracy thing, and they're Masons, and all this. Like, here's one right here. And I'm, so fuck, it's just...
They're too busy drinking that blood.
That's right. Killing little babies and stuff. But everybody's looking for Bigfoot to blame something on, or the Loch Ness Monster, or whatever that is. And why not hanging on a Mason here and there, too? So I don't know what everybody's problem is, man, but you got to go out and learn.
It's like wanting to become a master of boxing. You want to become the next Mike Tyson. So you go into the ring, You get your ass beat, and you come out, and you're just like, it's the Masons, bro. That's what happened, man. That's what happened. I mean, that is what happened.
They didn't want me to win.
It's Joey. It's Joey's fault. That's why I didn't win the boxing match.
Well, how long you been training? Well, 15 minutes before the fucking thing, I swung a few times.
I hit the speed bag before I came in here. It's Joey's fault. You know what I mean? It's like...
shit. I've heard a lot of stuff, man. It's goofy, you know.
It's all Joey's fault, dude. That's what it is, you know.
We control the currency, and you know. Okay, all right. You keep believing that. That's what you need to believe. You know, you're going to keep losing and get your ass beat in life.
Well, on the opposite end of that, you know, like a lot of the things that I bring to the table is there's no case law, and I'm uphill battle and all this kind of stuff, but. The way I look at it is someone's got to bring the claim. Otherwise,
That's right.
mean, at the way things are going, you're not going to be able to afford a house in this country in like a year or two. I mean, if someone doesn't bring the claim and come after the slaughterhouse cases and negotiable instruments, like we are fucked. Like this country is fucked.
Yeah.
So the way I look at it is like, it might as well be me. I mean, ain't nobody else doing it.
No, I agree. The one that's really kind of near and dear to the heart, I think, in all of us that actually have a half a fucking heart is the foreclosures. I mean, I hate to see that. I truly do. I hate to see people get their shit rocked, and it's horrible. And I know there's some good people in the space because they watch Brandon's page, you know, just like I do. And a couple of them have reached out to me. So, you know, if you kind of get into this and you get good in your lane, I mean, I had a 3-hour conversation with one of those guys here not long ago who's based in Florida that's as good as in foreclosures as I am in credit. And he's doing some good work. So there are people out there that are trying, man, to move that needle. But, man, I hate to see people get their shit foreclosed on. And it's really not hard to be able to defend that. You know, with Brandon's argument around negotiable instruments, that's the greatest place to start. Prove to me that we have an agreement in place, blah, blah, blah. I mean, there's a million ways to... I would have that thing tied up so fucking long in court, you know, it's
You'd be living for free for 10 years.
They'd be wore out, man.
They'd be worn out, yeah.
You know, that 1002 that I was referencing earlier, the best evidence rule, where is it? You show me the signed document, the one in blue.
I've been researching and seeing cases and stuff, and I've known people for many decades. I've known several cases where they request for the original for a promissory note, and they can't. They either can't or they will not. I've never once ever heard of someone getting into discovery, asking for the original, and then them actually producing the original. Ever.
Because they've sold it 6 fucking times.
It's never happened.
Out of the room. Yeah.
It's never happened. It's never happened in the entire history since 1933. No. It's never happened.
That's exactly right, man. It's sold as soon as you walk out of the room. And it's sold several times after that. They don't even know where it's at. It's fucking, you know, and here you are being booted out by somebody that's not the original. Yeah,
it's a presumption.
Yeah, and you bought it, and that's a shame. You know, when somebody says this, all you have to say is, "No, this is not true." Produce the evidence. You know, that's the one thing I beat up on Dr. Graves or whatever the fuck his name is, the jurisdictionary guy. You know, because he's a bar card, and I don't trust bar cards. I mean, I'm pretty open about that. Now, he did give a basic understanding of a lot of stuff, and I did read his stuff to a certain level. He does a great job talking about they need evidence, and they need this. Now, where I see he falls off is he doesn't talk about the presumptions and the 301, obviously for a reason, I think, because he's still got an active bar license, but... or the canons, whatever that may be. But, man, he's right. I mean, evidence is the key, and they'll go in there with a bunch of horseshit presumptions that turn into facts, and they're not evidence worth of shit that you could literally get rebutted out of there. Boom. So it's like that with anything, man. If anybody comes at you for any reason, whether it's a debt collector or the bank coming after your house for foreclosure and stuff, man, just don't give up. Just dig in, you know, and you don't have to be an asshole. It's that literally, I believe this truly to my heart of hearts, that the court is there for you and the judge is willing to help you if you'll help yourself. But if you go in there fucking slouched over and woe is me and they're after me and this place is crooked and blah, 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 he hears that enough. He or she.
It's no different than a job interview or dating.
Yeah, exactly.
That shit won't fly in a job interview. It won't fly with dating. Go on some dates and act like that and see what happens.
Exactly. Yeah.
But it's all your fault because you're a Mason. That's why.
It should be. Yeah.
That's why. It's all your fault, brother.
All the way back to George
I'll go on a date.
Washington,
I'll
man.
go on a date tomorrow, and it doesn't fucking work out. You know who I'm gonna call and blame?
Yeah, me.
You
That's
motherfucker.
It. Right.
You'll be getting a phone call, brother. I'll tell you right now.
Yeah.
You'll be getting a phone call.
She made me pay for the tacos. That's bullshit,
It's
man.
Joey's fault. That's Joey's fault. She made me pay, and Joey. I'm on a date. This girl's trying to get me to pay for tacos. It's your fault, brother.
Right.
Why are you doing this to me? You know what I mean?
Yeah. And she had blue hair and a nose ring.
And a penis.
We are in L.A., right? Oh, boy. That just took a turn right there. Be brick flying through the window here in a minute. Oh, jeez.
Oh,
you guys haven't burnt the town down yet out there.
I know. We got the fires.
Yeah.
We got this. We got it all, man. We got all the entertainment you need, brother. All
I'll be
the
out there in a
entertainment you
month.
need.
I'm
Yeah,
coming
yeah.
out. I'm drag your big ass up the mountains with me.
Let's go, man.
Yeah.
We'll head down. We'll see some blue-haired people. We'll throw some
Love
Molotov
'em.
cocktails downtown LA, and then we'll
Wave
we'll
the
head up
Mexican
north
flag
and get some. Yeah.
Yeah. We hate the country we're in. We don't want to go back to the one we're waving at.
Yeah. That's the funniest. We'll wave the Mexican flag, and then they'll go, "Okay, we'll send you back for free." And like, no, please.
No. Fuck that. It's crazy.
All right,
Well,
man. Well,
yeah.
thank you for everything. It's been super enlightening. Hell, I learned a lot. God damn. I mean, I got a whole new world ahead of me now with all this. I'm going to be digging through all sorts of good stuff. You'll be seeing me recapping everything under the sun, moon, and stars.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you very much. Always a pleasure. And we'll see you later some point in time.
Yes, sir. Had a fun time, man. Peace out.
Peace.